Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Kyle, and we are back with some Everlast, episode 24, session 24. It's crazy. I can't believe our adventures of Middle-earth is catching up, but hey, we're only doing this twice a month, baby. And so, happy to be joined by the entire crew. It looks like Cole's not here today, but he's going to be here. He's running a little bit late, but yeah, we're joined by everybody here that we have, and hopefully next time we can have a full crew and get rid of that Thordane chibi that you've been seeing for the better part of a year.
The first time ever.
Yeah, really. So yeah, super excited to be able to continue this with all of you. Couple of things really quickly. So I know we had to cancel last session and everything due to lack of people, but hopefully we should be a little bit more regular going through for the better part of this summer. We're going to be, as I had mentioned, joined very soon by our new player who is going to be playing Thordane, and it's not necessarily going to be kind of a reset of everything, but it's going to kind of guide the party maybe more in like a general different trajectory. So it'll be interesting to see how that all goes out. So keep bearing with us. Yeah, we're very excited to be able to introduce someone else new. But for now, we do have everybody here for us. And so let's go ahead and have all the players introduce themselves. We'll hold off on Luxalia until Cole gets in here. But let's go ahead and start off from the bottom with Yuki. Oh, you're muted.
I'm muted. I'm here. Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. I'm Dane. I play the character Yuki Mistletoe. She is a silver draken from the far north city of Flamongolis. She is a bard, blade dancer, physical DPS. And as of now, she has been fixing a ship, and it's going to be really good. She's been missing Zil and Belbin as they went off and got it consumed by the mountain. So it's good. It's good. She's excited to see them again, hopefully.
True, and hopefully those wings of hers actually help out with the rebuilding of this ship. But
you know they will.
You know they will. Thordane. So Thordane is a woodland elf from the woodland realm of Everlast, and he is not only the ship's captain, but he is also a support hunter. So he supports the party from the back with his bow, and he also has a number of good healy stuff that he can do as well. He is relatively stoic, but he, as everybody knows, is a man of science. At least he is for now. And
is that part of the contact of our new player?
Perhaps we'll see. I'm sure he's been watching these, and so like we'll see however he picks that up with. But yes, he is a man of science, and yeah, he has done a better part of winning wrestling competitions and helping to sail the Alomnia's Breath, the ship name, to safety from a giant sea monster. So that's fun too. He's already doing his job as captain, even though he's lost more than half of his crew. So that's also
by no one's fault. No one's fault. Big mythical sea monsters. You know that'll happen.
No, but nobody's fault except for bad dice rolls.
Sorry.
It's okay. No one blames you, Max. It's fate.
I blame me.
That was how it was meant to be.
It's true. It's true. And next we have Belbin.
Yes. Hi, guys. So I'm Connor. I play Belbin. Belbin's hurting a little bit right now. He is not feeling too hot. This last dungeon has got him feeling a little bit more down. Health-wise, misery-wise, he's feeling pretty miserable. But, yeah, he's kind of a force to be reckoned with. He, I think, is willing to... He'd rather die than have something that he really wants not go his way. So, yeah, we'll have to see what he does. He's pretty grumpy most of the time, but some days he's happy, maybe. Maybe.
His
still love him.
Happiness is dependent.
Yeah.
But as of now, he has been affected, pretty severely affected by his kind of miserableness from his points of vice that he has. And so, a bad situation has kind of turned worse. However, last session they did meet Altuliant, who is a guardian of ages past, and with that, even through all of his miserableness, able to reclaim a very fancy bow, the Celestial Bow. So even with all that, he was still able to do stuff. So hey, it's good.
Quick question: what's the proper title of a Tuliant again? Sorry, wasn't able to write this down. He's a what?
Basically, he was the guardian of what was this? The Temple of Amandalius.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Sweet.
From my own notes.
We'll skip over Luxalia for now, and then we'll go. Hey.
Let's go.
Just in time.
Just in time
in
for
time.
your introduction. If he can hear us. Oh, can't hear you.
Are you muted?
Probably. As Cole's figuring out his mic, let's go ahead and head over to Zill.
Yeah, Zill, king of terrible rolls. Got the ship attacked. Almost didn't figure out Antulian. We're doing great. Owner of Waffle. Wow, it's been a while, guys. I almost forgot Waffle's name.
Ooh.
Also known as the Teapot of Madness from his wrestling. But Zill is the party tank, blacksmith, orphan, who is used to sketchiness, but is feeling the weight of his misery and might be trying to turn over a new leaf. We'll see. He's going to try to learn from his mistakes. Belwin might not let him. But it's going to be fun.
Pretty sure Belbin's pretty concerned with himself right now. But finally, we have Luxalia.
Hi, can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yeah,
now?
we can.
Yeah. A little quiet.
Sweet.
There we go.
A little quiet.
There we go. That's perfect.
How about
That's
now?
good.
You sound good.
Okay. Cool. Turned up the
Luxalia.
gain. I'm Luxalia, the resident healer, and pretty much just coolest member of
Wow.
yeah, Glyven.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't. Shrine Maiden.
You're keeping us
Yeah.
alive. That's good.
It's true. That's what I do. Keeping it alive, keeping it real. So, yeah.
Awesome. And I am Kyle, the creator of the game of Everlast. I'm also the Fate Weaver. And so I will be playing with and against these players as they battle fate, as I help to shape, form, and tell this narrative that is the adventures of Eclaas. A little bit of recap before we jump into the gameplay for today. So, yeah, there is a lot that has happened since departing Takaitan, which they were in for a very, well, seemingly quite a while. But they have set out on the high seas in search of the Keeper of the Keys. These people specifically... the Eclaas was tasked by Nalgork Cragheim, the keeper of the Fire Key, to gather basically the 4 elemental keys, to gather all of the owners of them together to be able to discuss what is happening in council in the basically the seas of Everlast. Not only have volcanoes been erupting, but there's also been the presence of sorcery and all kinds of corruption at the Earth Pillar, which with that, Eclaas went and explored, defeated basically a cultist, a giant Earth Elemental. They became themselves the Keeper of the Earth Key, and so they've been tasked with sailing north in order to go find the Keepers of the Key of the Sea and then the Storm Key. And so... they are doing so, and so they are currently en route to Feshenfey to speak with King Ferrand, the keeper of the Sea Key. And with that, hopefully bringing him back and convincing him to have counsel with Nalgork and the other remaining members, holders of the key. But upon their adventures, they had hired a number of people to basically sail their ship, a ship that they won from the Bloody Bosun, a pirate admiral. They won the ship, a lot which they dubbed the name Alamnia's Breath, and they were transporting a bunch of people and also a bunch of crew members across the sea to Feshenfe. However, unfortunate events did come into fruition where a giant sea monster from the depths, what was his name? Oh no.
Oh,
I have it written. Azaeldun.
Azaeldun.
Yeah, nice memory, Max.
There you go.
No, I remember nothing.
If you
Nice
guys
note,
if you guys are listening to these episodes back to back, it's been like about a month since we played. So just FYI, keep that in the back of your minds. But
Did
yes,
the last session ever get posted, Dane?
They're on YouTube. They're not up for public viewing. I still have some editing and stuff to do with them. So the last 2 sessions aren't technically up. They're there, but they're not public. So
I see.
don't worry, I'm not forgetting anything. I've been busy in my work life.
That's fair.
And so, with that being the case, they were hunted by this legendary beast of the sea. Traveling as fast as they could towards an island off in the distance, they were able to narrowly escape, but not without loss and not without casualty, as this beast Azaeldun plowed them into this cave that sent them whirling up, beaching them into this ancient cavern in the side of basically this mountain cave that's carved out of this island. And a number of the crew died, and all of the passengers unfortunately perished from the dilemma. And so they had a lot to do. That not only the ship was damaged, but they had to deal with all of these perished bodies. And so Eclaas, Eeas, along with the surviving crew, fortunately all of the key notable NPCs did live, but the remaining crew basically have been set to the task of repairing the ship enough to be able to continuously sail it, and then also have a funeral for these unfortunately deceased members. But in all of the chaos of what was going on, Belbin and Zil, initially helping, maybe looting the pockets of some of the deceased passengers, they started really feeling the effects of these this kind of shadow that's begun to take hold of them, whether it's greed or whatever the case. But they left everyone to it as they continued to explore the caves, to which they noticed that at the very back there was a door, and it was apparently sealed shut. However, with the sunrise, the door opened, and both Belbin and Zil narrowly were able to make it through, for the but a brief moment that it was open, into this cavernous temple system. To which they had soon realized by the end of it, it was the ancient temple of Amandalius, an ancient order dedicated to Alamnia, the god of Everlast. And it was all but abandoned, but still there was some kind of resonance that was within. And so, solving a bunch of puzzles, doing dungeony things, Zil and Belbin made their way through this entire system. But it looked like that this whole cave itself and the temple had taken some damage over the years. And so basically traveling across narrow ledges, solving traps, all that kind of stuff, they were able to finally make it all the way down to the central room of worship, where they came upon an altar. And this altar had a kind of a blue resonance mist that was hovering up on top of the altar, obscuring whatever was behind it. And upon reaching in there, they both started to realize that this was something that it was a heavy energy, but it was ultimately a holy energy, which Belbin, being in severe points of vice at this point, not only did him and Zil loot some stuff that maybe they shouldn't have, but they also revealed the corpse of basically a sea hero who was there, who immediately began to decay upon seeing it. And so, yeah, that affected them a little bit. But They made their way down here, and they were met face to face with a guardian, a guardian of this temple specifically, by the name of Ultuliant, a servant of Alamnia and keeper of the celestial bow. He was able to. Well, both Belbin and Zill were able to undergo spiritual scrutiny as Ultuliant basically dove in to look at their pure hearts and their true intentions, and deeming them worthy, granted them this bow, which coincidentally does fit exactly with the celestial bowstring that was given to both Zill and Yuki upon finding Smoldran. As for helping him out, he gave that as part of his hoard to them. And they also noticed that they were also told that there is one more piece to this complete set, this complete item, and it is the celestial arrow, which last was heard was plunged into the captain of the dreadnought and sunk to the bottom of the sea. But they have two pieces, as it were, at the moment, and with this temple only being opened up twice a day at sunrise and sunset, Belbin and Zill have a lot of time to kill down here, and there was a lot of things that they maybe got to check out and explore, spending probably the better part of about 4 hours up until this point down into this temple. Is there anything? We'll go ahead and start it off there. Is there anything, Zill and Belbin, that you want to do in the meantime while you are down here?
Belbin? Also, 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, Belbin, so we're just going... Belbin, I think, is just going to make his way kind of towards the door, waiting for it to open. Mm-hmm. But while he's waiting there, he'll just be thinking about the dungeon. The body, particularly, that was beautiful and then turned to, like, ash right before his eyes. And maybe just start praying.
Absolutely.
With the things he's seen. Yeah, it's a...
I'm going to have you make a piety check for me.
Alrighty.
Is Belbin pious? I feel like he's not.
He's very focused.
It's true.
With a natural 2, he's not feeling very pious. 2.
So Belbin, this is everything that you've experienced up until this point is weighing heavy on you, and not only reflecting upon the disintegrating body, but one thing that I think has really brought this weight on your shoulders to your attention is being in the presence of a holy being. You continuously look back and forth to kind of yourself, but also to Zill, where Zill was able to experience this to a much lesser degree of pain and torment. And, I'm going to have you make a wisdom check for me. Just a straight wisdom.
Looking for it.
Yeah, it's going to be under
10.
your mind. 10?
Yep.
Yeah, you're pretty much able to deduce that you've got some demons that you've got to fight. Hence the reason you've been starting kind of attempting this prayer. But with each prayer, you notice that your mind is just clouded with a number of things from the experiences that you faced, but mostly doubt and fear. A little part of you doesn't feel worthy to have been accepted by Ultuliant, but also a part of you doesn't want to face what he was tasked you with. Being in the possession of this bow means that you have a great task ahead of you, and self-doubt has begun to seep into your very kind of soul. You look to your companions, you look to Zill, you think of Luxalia, you think of Yuki and Thordain, and you see that there's strength in the unity of the 5 of you. However, you know deep down, well, you're wondering deep down, if you're really that much of a help, or actually you're starting to feel maybe I'm just a hindrance to them. These doubts have begun to creep in, and so that's something that's kind of sitting heavy on your mind as you wait by the door waiting for it to open. Zill, what are you doing in the meantime?
Okay, I've got 3 ideas. So tell me how they can all fit together, if they can or not.
Let's hear.
So one, I think it was Antuliant mentioned that I was touched by the power of rune.
That you were.
So seeing if there's anything that gives me more insight into what that means, because I think we've talked about a little bit before of we know we're different, but we don't know why. I think that's come up. And so kind of seeing if that's connected. 2, if there's anything, this seems like a holy place, so anything that is connected to the order I've learned about that isn't affected by void speech, that is true of me and I don't understand. And 3, just taking time to process the holiness of that being and the dumb decisions we have made.
Yeah, absolutely. You actually leave this place, it maybe not quite in as much fear and doubt as Belbin, as is very evident in his just general like posture. This place is beating him down, but yeah, you kind of almost have this wonder and awe about you. Different kind of fear. From being able to see something that even you and yourself, you feel unworthy to be able to see. And so with that sit in the back of your mind, you go to find answers. There are a couple of places that are perhaps of interest. Yes, you do remember that there were a number of bed chambers where some of these acolytes, these priests of the Order of Amandalius used to live. Most of them were relatively empty, but you have more time to be able to search if you wish to do so. But one place in particular that you do remember is the library. This was the place where there was that book that was open on the desk, and in it was basically the whole story about the Dreadnought and essentially the Celestial Arrow. And so this kind of legend was open there. But there was an entire library of a number of books that were there. So up to you to kind of decide what to do with that. Other than that, there's some depictions of kind of just stories through the past on the walls, but you have no insight on what these could even mean or interpreting them in any way.
Yeah, I think... So what, you said we were here about 4 hours, so we got 8 left?
Yes.
Probably spend an hour, maybe 2, just kind of either at the room with like the water or where we met in Tuliant or whatever, just kind of praying, processing like what just happened. What is all this? And then I think the rest spent in the library just looking for connections to rune and void speech.
I'm going to have you make a piety check for me.
Okay, what is my piety?
And by the way, the exploration of this, basically this area, is not something that is as difficult as when you originally did, as you found the secret passage between essentially the broken section and the main kind of altar room. And so you're able to make your way through that with absolute ease, as it were. So
fantastic. Nat 16.
Nat 16. Whoa, we're starting strong. You first
might be the only good roll I get all night.
Yeah, really. You first sit there and ponder the altar as this mist does continue to hang over it as you leave, but the vision of Altuliant has disappeared. You still feel the sense of energy emitting from with on top of that altar, but it's not something that you necessarily feel bad about. If anything, you feel this sense of encouragement, and you feel blessed to be able to have experienced such a wondrous occurrence in your life. you wander back and you think of the connection with the bowl that was on top of the the altar. You feel this connection about this water. Something is drawn to you about this water, and so you make your way all the way back to the fountain room, to where there's this fountain of unflowing or overflowing water that seems endless. It's as pure as it could be, and to the point that it's almost glistening and shimmering. You look at it, you drink a little bit of it, you feel good, you feel quenched, but at the same time, it feels unreal, as if it can only exist within this place. You've deduced so much as if you remove it from this temple, it probably will not be the same as when as being within.
I think I filled up something of it.
You did.
And I don't think I used it all when we were at the altar.
That's correct. Yeah, I think you had an entire wineskin full of this.
I'm going to take that out and pour it back in.
Okay. And it just seamlessly gets added back to the fountain. You eventually make your way to the library, and this is something you light a couple of the candle nubs that are still there, and you get to poring over the number of books that are there, any of them searching for something that could give you any kind of answers. I'm going to have you, as you do this, make an intelligence check for me. Intelligence.
Mind? Knowledge or wisdom?
Knowledge. Knowledge check.
Like, intelligence ain't a thing, man.
Yeah, knowledge check for me.
Oh, 15. We're doing good today.
15. As you search, as you look over these titles, many of them you cannot read or understand. But you seem to be drawn to a specific...
Even in my 4 languages?
Even with your 4 languages, they're in every single language that you could possibly imagine in here. This is very much an ancient collection of tomes. Make your way over to one section, a section regarding the void. You search up and down to see if there are any books that pique your interest, and there is one. You look upon it. What languages do you know, Zil?
Everspeech, Eldornian, Draken, and Void.
Okay. So this book is actually written in Eldornian, so kind of common speech.
Men of the West.
Men of the West. You take a look at it, and you examine it kind of up and down, and you're able to read the rune lords on this. This looks very interesting. You flip through the pages, and it's ancient texts depicting an order of, heroes. They, in their own rights, were outcasts from their own societies in their, basically in their use. They were basically a band of people that formed together that were trying for good, that were working for good, but based off of a number of reasons, they were thrown out of their societies and left to wander the world of Everlast alone. And again, there's a lot of information that's flooding through you at this moment, but essentially they banded together to try to discover the essence of mana and what its true purpose was, and also being able to interpret it for itself. And so these rune lords started to develop a language. And this language is a series of runes which you look upon some of the examples in the books. You can't read it, but for some reason to you, these runes kind of begin to depict and take shape for you. And you're able to generally understand the different things that they are saying, kind of some of the historical examples of what a rune is. These runes, as it were, have a connection to have a connection to mana, and it is essentially a vessel to be able to absorb mana and to be able to control it to a degree. But one thing that you must have is you must have a pure heart in order to do so. Otherwise, basically these runes completely reject the absorption of mana. And so these rune lords, these group of people, traveled throughout and used runes in order to dispel evil from basically all parts of the land. And when they sufficiently did so, this is all First Age stuff, so very ancient, very legend. Once they actually all did so, they took to the world of the Subterran, to which they discovered a world completely shrouded in darkness and wicked creatures all over. And that is the last accounts of what you have known of, basically what has been written about the Rune Lords.
Okay.
Sweet. So with that in your noggin, as time passes, we're going to go ahead and jump to Yuki and Luxalia. So you are back at this essentially shipwreck, dealing with all of these people. Yuki, I know you're spending most of your time helping with the ship and getting repairs done on that. In fact, you are working very, very close with Tolly, the ship's engineer, as he's barking orders at everybody. Nobody knows what they're doing, but he is basically supervising everybody, cursing, but also trying to be as helpful as he can, as he's telling you to, fix parts of the ship this way, use the tar in order to mend things this way, all kinds of things. And Luxalia, you are have been spending your time preparing all of these bodies. You started crafting these small little boats out of a number of driftwood, but completely damaged pieces of the ship. To be able to kind of send them off with a blessing into the sea. And so I'm going to leave it to you guys. You can add more detail to whatever that is, but that's what the both of you have been up to while they've been away. And you have noticed that they've been gone, FYI.
Well, Yuki, noticing that they're gone, but I feel like she would just be very, very preoccupied with what's going on to really, at the moment, care. I'm sure as time goes on and things go, obviously she's concerned, but she's a little bit too busy trying to do her best, like, mend the ship so it doesn't sink. She's very worried that Azaldun, the terror of the sea, is still close by and out there, so she wants to make sure that it's as good as possible. So
I'm gonna have you make a focus check for me, as Azaldun basically piques your interest as you continuously look towards the cave entrance. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day, almost as if nothing terrible had happened. But the shipwreck is a very obvious sign of that. But you scan the waters to see of any kind of large movement.
Dirty 16.
Dirty 16.
Yeah.
You narrow your gaze as you look out upon the waters, and all you can see is the glistening of the sun, and also you can hear the water lapping up against the rocks, but no unnatural movement out beyond the cave's mouth.
Okay. It calms Yuki's heart, I think, a little bit, and she's gonna do what she can to help with her wings, obviously, to help fix the masts or anything that needs being done. But she also sees that Luxalia is preparing these caskets and these boxes, and is there a way? She wants to go over to Tolly and ask, Tolly, I mean, we've been working for hours. Is there anything else that we need? I feel like Luxalia needs some help with these unfortunate passengers and crew members that have passed. Do you have everything you need, or do you need me to help some more?
I could use any bit of help that I could get, but if you say your companion over there needs some help, perhaps you should go help. I have another of these poor sods to be able to help me. And you see, actually, as you look, Captain Balthazar has regained his strength and he's begun giving orders. And Barnacle Bill is very well at work going and actually so very skillfully up in the rafters repairing the sails. Tolly says, "Fortunately, we haven't been at sea all that long, but the damages I'm afraid that we took on our ship are, well, unfortunately they're going to prove quite catastrophic, and so it might take a few days to get her up in ship shape again. But and he kind of examines all the materials and all the supplies that you have on board. But with the amount of supplies that we have, we'll say, barring another vicious attack, we should be able to make it to Fish and Fae before we're able to resupply."
Well, I appreciate all of your help and kind word and kindness on this trip. I know no one ever wanted anything like this to happen, but I guess that's the risk when you're on the open seas, right?
The fact that we are alive and that my heart keeps beating within my chest, well, that is in itself enough for me to be able to, would be grateful for our situation. Now, if I just had a few more engineers, unfortunately, all of them did perish, and he's like kind of like pseudo also complaining about his current situation, but there's a little piece of gratitude in there as well.
Yeah, Thordane, hearing this, is going to step in and try to fill in whatever he can with Tolly. So he'll take Yuki's place in fixing whatever needs to be fixed, and Yuki's going to go over to Luxalia, and she's going to go walk over there and kind of put a hand on her shoulder as she's doing and say, "Are you hanging in there okay, Luxalia?"
I've had better days. This is a lot, and I just can't help feeling responsible for all of these people, and preparing for their burials is just very emotionally taxing.
I
I've
understand
never
that.
actually had to do this before, so...
Well, I think anytime you see death and the destruction that's happened, I mean, we can thank Alomnia ourselves that we're alive. However, I feel that you don't need to feel responsible for this. It was no one's fault. If anything, I feel like Alomnia was looking out for us. Imagine how bad it could have been, you know?
Absolutely. Oh, he definitely guided us here. I fear, had he not, we would have been having the same fate, but still.
I mean, I know I'm not as pious, or I don't have the same kind of background as you do when it comes to these, but if there's anything I can do to assist you in your services, please let me know. I mean, of course, after seeing such tragedy, it's difficult, but if anything, the reason partially I came over to you is it's hard. It's really hard seeing all of this. And I don't know how I can overcome it. And maybe you have some advice on how to do so, because I've seen too much death in my time in our adventures here, and not saying that my faith itself is wavering, but it's just really hard for me right now, you know?
Yeah. I get it. I mean, the only thing that really gets me through is, Alomnia, prayer. Just having hope that while their earthly lives have ended, hopefully they're what's difficult is I don't know these people, you know, but I hope that there's something to come after death, you know. And,
yeah, yeah, so. I know it's tough. By the way, this is for you, Lore Master. How badly mangled are these bodies? Is it like something absolutely gruesome to look at when we're like putting them, or is it more so just like blunt trauma, like just lifeless?
So essentially, the vast majority of the way that these people died is in the crashing of the ship. They were essentially like thrown against the side of the walls of their rooms or whatever the case. And so there's no one who's just like arms shredded, ripped off, because technically speaking, nothing quite like that has happened. The worst that you can see is like maybe like a crate crushed somebody's like leg or something, or not like head like exploded them, but most of these bodies look lifeless, but not necessarily completely broken.
Okay. Well, that gives Yuki a little bit more courage to continue her helping, and so Yuki's gonna stay by Luxalia's side for the remainder of this and do what she can. She knows how to make instruments and whatnot. I don't know if that necessarily correlates to making makeshift boat coffins, but she's going to help as much as she can, if at the very least help get the bodies ready to be prepared, like bringing them closer and trying to go through the ship and collect them for Luxalia.
Fortunately, you've got the time to be able to do this. And so I'm not going to make you make any checks in order to actually physically like rebuild the ship, do that kind of stuff, just because you have some guidance, and as far as like making kind of these makeshift little rafts to send them out on, that's not a problem. But I'm gonna actually have both Luxalia and Yuki make faith survival checks for me.
Oh Lord. Not terrible. That's a 12 for Yuki.
Okay.
It is. Is it just a straight roll for that? I forget.
Yeah, it's the faith and then your modifier. So
yeah, just like the straight faith stat.
Oh, faith modifier?
Yeah.
It's like if you go to the statistics.
Wow, good thing I have a good faith.
Yeah, really good faith.
Yeah, 15.
15.
Good.
2 15s. What was yours? 12.
Cool.
12. Mine was 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is something that, while it's weighing and sitting heavy on both of your hearts, Luxalia, one thing that's kind of come over you is your sense of duty and responsibility. You do feel a little bit of guilt for the things that have transpired, but ultimately what you take from this as you begin to prepare the bodies for their send-off is you're filled with hope, an idea of hope, but ultimately mercy, as it looked like their deaths were very quick for each of them, and they all seemed in decent places to go as far like spiritually from the small amount that you got to know them, and so your prayers are very much lifted up towards them, and it's actually gotten to the point where it kind of inspires the people to a degree around, including Yuki, and you can see actually Lyra off in the distance. Like, you can tell the vast majority of the stuff that she's doing is she has done this more than once or twice. Like, she's going at like double the pace of the two of you. And she begins kind of preparing these bodies, and she actually shows each of you like the correct way in the Aishan Archipelago to prepare the bodies, such as like the way to close the eyes, the way to position their heads, like for like a sea burial. And so she's very instrumental and helpful in this, as she discusses with you. This isn't the first time that I've had to do such a thing, and well, it is the will of Alamine that I have been able to survive to this point. Yes, my job is to save lives, but unfortunately, my job additionally comes in the way of sending them off as well. It's a beautiful thing that I do love about this job, but it is very sad to see souls leave this life so suddenly. Us elves do live long lives, and well, upon pondering that, my profession leaves me to thinking about mortality perhaps a lot more than many other elves. And she kind of like closes her eyes, but brings herself kind of back to basically being present. Well, shall we? And after all of this preparation and whatnot, it's probably been about 6-ish hours to the point where you're able to kind of like make shift, like get the bodies, build these. The ship is nowhere near being fixed by any means, as there's a lot of work to be done. But yeah, you have begun kind of sending off as Lyra begins to call the crew to be able for the send off. And
as this is going on, Yuki, as she's like picking up bodies and bringing them over to be prepared for where they need to be, her necklace, her gold topaz necklace, actually comes out of her like armor, and she's kind of in the way and stuff, and so she takes it off for the meantime in order to like do this effectively and do this prominently. But the more she looks at it, she sees it, and she sees it glinting in the sunlight peeking through into like the little cave, and like the gold shine and the radiance coming off of the gemstone in the center of it. It's a big gemstone, it's a big thick thing. And then she looks over to Luxalia, and she sees that it's very much kind of a reflection image in a way. Like with Luxalia, like her gold hair coming down and the browns of her attire, and she's just thinking to herself, this matches very, very well. I feel like I can't use this effectively. And so she actually walks over to Luxalia, and she has this in her hand, and while she's like preparing the bodies and making this, she just like from behind just takes this necklace and just slips it over her head in her ears and things, and doesn't say anything, but just puts it on her neck so she can, it's hers now. So
Luxalia looks at it, kind of starts to tear up and just gives Yuki a big old hug.
Yeah. Yuki doesn't say anything, but gives a hug back and says, "Wow." She doesn't say much in the ways of like giving or anything like that, but she says,
"Yukatta.
It looks good on you."
ありがとうございます。
And continues to do that. So yep, that's what she's gonna do. So yeah,
Nice.
that's all. So it's sick. You should read it.
Thanks.
It's pretty sweet.
It's a little bit changed from the overpowered necklace that it was back on the battle at the bridge, but yeah, it's nice.
Nice.
Sure.
Cool.
Was that the like fireball necklace thing? Or...
Yeah, it like
What was
summons storms, right? But it's a little different. So when we used it last time, it was like freaking broken. It summoned like a massive thunderstorm and like struck people every single turn. But now I believe
it still does that. So essentially what it is each turn you can select one target to strike with lightning as opposed to like 1d6 targets. And so you can still do that. And it basically is kind of like passive damage for, and it's like a focus one, so you have to keep like kind of like the focus. So on that. So it's nice. It's pretty good.
What is this? Where do I find this in the on the sheet?
It is
my inventory.
Yeah, that's the thing. We need to go over this at some point, like how to re-add stuff into our inventories and whatnot. So maybe just write it down for now. Cool.
Okay.
So gold topaz necklace.
Yeah.
Gold topaz.
Hey, I will. Who did that, Spider?
Hey, Spider. How's it going?
Oh, Spider. I'm going to roll this D16, and it is going to turn out, we'll see. Just watch. Everyone will get their blessing on this one, and that would be nice. Because this also is a thing in Adventures of Middle-earth. So for those of you who don't know, if you redeem the roll a d16 and I roll a natural 16, then everybody in the party gets either blessed, so they get their blessing in Everlast, or you get inspiration in Adventures of Middle-earth, our D&D campaign that we're going for. So let's see here. D16. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
That's an 11.
Boo.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It hasn't happened yet, but one of these days it will happen. And also, I believe 25,000 channel points. If you want to do that as well, you can gift 25,000 channel points and select who you want to receive either inspiration or a blessing in either of those two campaigns.
Dane graced me with it last time because he wasn't playing.
Oh, yeah.
Also has a blessing that he needs to use at some point. Maybe I'll let Ikari use it.
Yeah.
It can be his first thing that he does.
Sweet. Yes. And
question though. Sorry.
Yes. No, go ahead.
Before the D16 thing I was going to ask. Is there... So, like, in Christianity, like, when you bury people, it's pretty easy to make, like, a cross with sticks and, like, kind of mark that someone died there. Is there a similar symbol for Olamnia to kind of mark, like, a grave or somewhere where someone died or something like that?
So the symbol of Olamnia is the sun. And so basically any kind of, like, circular flaming iconography tends to be for basically Olamnia. And actually this is the Max would know this, or Zill would know this. It's a very similar, actually, symbol to Helix, as Helix was brought at came into fruition as like a holy city, and so they have actually a similar sun iconography, but it's a little bit different. So with that being the case, probably for burials, you wouldn't necessarily, like, especially like a sea burial, you wouldn't necessarily stick anything in the ground where they died, but you would probably put it on their person as you send it off. So you could, like, either do this out of stone, you can make it out of sticks. That might be a little bit difficult, but yeah, you can take the time to be able to do that for sure.
Okay. I'm going to do that, like, just make, like, a small one out of sticks or palm branches or something for each of them, and then put it on them, but then also just, like, something either on a stone or something to just, like, mark and commemorate that, like, they died on this island, so if people, like, come to this island, they know, like, and if possible, write their names on the stone. So...
Yeah, actually, you wander your way kind of towards the back, and you see that this elevation that you last saw Azil and Belbin climb up goes higher and higher up into the mountain, but there's kind of like this like area that like kind of triangulates, so there's a staircase on each end that lead up kind of past your vision, but there's this large amount of rocks that are like in the middle blocking your view of the top. So there's actually a relatively flat surface, and you go and you begin to do so, and so you take whatever you can to be able to chisel from ship materials, to be able to chisel from the basically the ship's roster of people that were on, and you begin carving names and doing all of that as well.
I'm assuming we would know all their names, right? At the very least, what's her name? Not Riona, Balthazar Finn. Who's the person?
The bossy chick?
Yeah, I forget her name off the top of my head.
The bossy chick. That's gonna be Bree.
You know,
Bree. Yeah. I have them all written down somewhere. I just don't know. So.
Bree, one of your most expensive crewmates.
Yeah, it's okay. If she knows everyone's name, then that's... She would, right? She would have a record of everyone on board, and I'm assuming.
If she didn't, she's hired.
No,
she's fired.
There absolutely is. Yeah, there's definitely like a ship roster of who is all there.
Cool.
Okay.
And she actually very much takes her. From what you've known with Bree, with the few days that you've traveled with her, she takes her job so seriously, to the point where it's like even some of like the passengers that were on the crew kind of wanted to stay away from her because she was always coming in like doing wake up calls every morning and like things like that, even though that they were there to rest. And like travel to Fulton Rock or Feshin Fay. So, but yeah, she knows absolutely who was all there, and so she actually will offer her assistance to do so as well.
Cool. Nice.
Sweet. There are a few bodies that you were that you were unable to find, as there were. The couple of bodies that you were unable to find were those sailors that were lost to Azaledoom. Like, earlier on, like, from, like, the initial ship fight.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you are not able to do this burial for everybody, but I'm assuming you add their names to this site. Okay.
The poor soul lost the battle to Doom, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Perfect. And with that, hours and hours pass as the sun begins to set. At this point, Zill and Belbin have made their way over to the entrance where immediately surprising you because there's really no way to track time in this area within this temple. You hear the sound of stone scraping as immediately the last light of day begins to peek its way over the horizon, and you're able, the two of you, to step through. You see this site below where the vast majority of these bodies have been placed in boats, basically ready for send-off, and the ship looks in a little bit better of a state than it was, but the two of you step out into this cave, and for the first time in 12 hours, you feel this slightly humid but cool sea breeze wick against your faces.
I look over at Belvin, seeing the care Luxali and Yuki have taken for the bodies. And I'm just like, so... Was it, especially after spending that time with Ultuliant and in this monastery, I don't know, Belvin. Taking that money's been weighing on me. I don't know.
All right. Well, what do you want to do about it?
Well,
Belbin,
I mean, we've already taken it. We can't really give it
a
back.
blessing, by the way. Belbin.
What?
Belbin gains a blessing from Kami.
Thank you, Kami.
Go, Kami. Thank you. It's not even mine, but...
Well, Belvin needs it, let's face it. With all these horrendous recent rolls, it's all good.
Feeling blessed.
Well...
You do, and actually,
I
will
mean, we
say
already
that
took it.
this comes at a good time. 1 second, Max. As the two of you step out, and Zill begins talking about kind of like what he's feeling. Belbin, you're immediately filled with a sense of hope as sitting in the darkness, sitting alone with your thoughts and pondering over everything, started creeping into you to a degree as you just were waiting and waiting and waiting in solitude, isolation, hearing nothing but the dripping. You couldn't recognize the beauty of the place, but as soon as this breath of fresh air hits you and you're able to see kind of this scene below you of not only your companions, but this beautiful seascape that's out past the cave entrance of the sunset, you're filled with a little bit of relief seeing the natural beauty of Everlast and that the world isn't as dark as what you had been seeing, and because of that, you gain your blessing. So, your blessing.
Yes.
Cool. Sorry, continue, Zill.
The power of silence.
And I'm just looking like, it's just an inkling, so he's not fully learning it. He's like, well, I mean, we already took it. They already buried them. So I don't know if we can give this much back, but... maybe next time let's I don't know. Think twice. I don't know, just it's not sitting right. We're gonna keep it, but it's not sitting right.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe when you have that little thing going off in your head saying it's not something's not sitting right, let me know. Maybe I'll think twice. Maybe I'll listen to you, maybe I won't. Maybe it'll be a dice roll. We'll have to see.
I didn't have that often, but it's getting louder. People would talk about it all the time. Where is this voice coming from? I don't know. But...
Oh, Thordane knows all about voices in his head.
Yeah, he does.
No, like the voice I'm using for Zill, it's very different
No, that's
than I
fine.
normally do.
Is it scary sounding voice? Is it a happy sounding voice?
But
Is it like do it?
It's very real.
I don't know. Do it. I never had one because it was always just, survive. But the people we've been dealing with, the things we've been doing. I mean, okay, Luxalia can be overbearing sometimes, but often she has a point.
Zill, do you find that you've got only one voice, and it's just like the little angel on your shoulder, or do you have both, the little like angel and the little demon?
I mean, they're still both. The angel's new. I didn't realize the demon, little demon was a voice because I think it was usually. Look, I've had to do. Growing up on the streets, it's tough. Like, yeah, I had the oh crap, what was his name? The I've got it written down somewhere.
Waffle.
No, the
I've had a mouse.
Can't forget Waffle's name.
I don't know what it is. The Smith in Helix who took me in.
Oh yeah. I'll have to dig.
Oh, Clark.
Yeah, there you go, Clark.
It's like I had Clark, and that was great, but I mean, even then, like looking over everyone else, like it was kind of just you do what you had to do, and maybe I don't know, maybe that made the demon feel like my own voice, just to keep those kids alive, and I don't regret any of it. I mean, there's so many kids, myself included, who had nothing and are still alive today, and because of you guys, they're part of the guards now. When we killed that Jabberwocky, they're on a better path. So I don't think that voice is completely bad, but it's not always smart.
I'm curious. I think I only have the little demon. So let me know what your angel tells you sometimes.
They're still pretty quiet. They're getting louder. Luxalia's having a field day over here.
Yeah, as you see Luxalia like blessing each of like the. You just like look upon that and you're just like, feeling very different from even these corpses. But yes, you are back, and you are very well aware of the fact that people have been making progress down below without you. And not only have you returned with your pockets a little heavier, but I don't know who's holding it, but you are currently in possession of the Celestial Bow.
Also, Kyle, roll D16.
I think I have it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I took it. I don't remember adding it. To
I mean, I was there, so, and I don't trust Belvin with this.
I don't know if Belvin can even touch it. Let's face it.
D16. I got a 6.
Nice.
10
Oh man.
I think everyone, maybe with the exception of Luxalia, is blessed. Or Yuki?
No, Yuki's not blessed either.
Okay, so Thordane, Zill, and Belbin are all blessed right now.
She's blessed to be alive, is all I have to say.
That's true.
She's blessed to be alive.
That's true.
By the way, quick question as far as like the send-off goes. Is it, because this is a question I'm assuming that we have for Lyra, is it customary to like shoot a burning arrow out onto the boats as the coffins go to sea? Like, what is the process of this?
She says that it very much depends on the culture. That's very much something that a gold draken would do. Would burn they would not shoot the arrow out, but they would burn the boats as they send them off. Where typically the people of Takai Town and maybe some of the surrounding islands would just send them off until their ships eventually are overcome and do sink. So it's kind of up to how you guys want to do it. Most of them are, well, there's no Draken, so.
Yeah, it's true. Thordane wants to do something because he thinks that'd be cool. That's all he cares about. It's gonna just be a nice sight to see that in the distance, you know? Just the fire. What does everyone else think? I don't know. Oh, Zill, Belbin, welcome back. Where'd you guys go?
Hello.
I can't believe you guys haven't finished the ship yet.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Well, Zill just looks and it's like he knows enough about craftsmanship, like crafting, so he's just like, Belbin,
Have you done any work on this?
no.
Yeah, it looks exactly like when we left it.
But Luxali, what do you think about this situation?
I think keeping their bodies together is a good thing. But that's just me.
All right, if you say so, Luxali. I don't know anything about this. I wouldn't consider myself to be a very pious person, Thordain says. So I trust in you.
Dude, is there any like luminescent like bioluminescent material?
Yeah,
around, like
there's
plankton or something?
a little bit of it that are like kind of like on like the cave walls. That was one thing that you noticed, like the evening that you got there, that you were marooned, was it was kind of lit a little bit by some of this bioluminescent moss.
So we have. Oh, it's not stone. I was gonna say we got some luminous stones in this cave. It's nice. But
Yeah, no, it's moss.
I mean,
that
what
is
we
like-
could do is we could like either make like paper lantern things that float on the water and send them out with them, or we could like paint with bioluminescence on their coffins. That'd be cool. As they go off.
I like your idea.
I don't know. Is there anything? Is there anything in like shrine maiden culture that like would go with a burial?
Typically, there's
Something
a
ceremonial like that.
Yeah, in Golivan, basic culture, there's typically a procession from kind of the main temple where you go from all the way to the burial place, as the graveyards typically are attached, the cemeteries to the temples, and there is a lot of incense that is involved in that as well. And very kind of stoic, almost ceremonious chanting as well in Glyven. That goes with that. But as far as like any kind of iconography or anything like that, nothing that you really have use of right now.
Luxalia, do you still have your golden censer? I've seen you have it a couple times, but I haven't seen it recently. Is that still something you have?
It should be.
Let me check. I think so.
Let me go back on the ship and check my stuff.
I don't think I got rid of it. Let's
Well,
see.
maybe that would be a nice touch. I can even
yes,
sing.
it's still here.
Nice. I could even sing a ballad if we need to, sending them off.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Are we doing this?
Zill and
Still,
Belvin,
they're
what?
mostly human, right? Are they mostly human? I don't know. What are
Yeah,
they?
pretty much all of them are humans.
Okay, Zill, you're the only human. What is the like song of your people?
Oh, I know one
Yeah.
actually. I know the song of the people. I can sing it.
I feel like I'm buried enough orphans to know this.
I
You're
got
so
it. Don't worry.
cultured,
Don't worry,
you-
Zill. You don't have to.
Would I know this?
I know it.
Typically, the way that you've buried Zill is it's been in, well, kind of sadness and dreariness, and not a lot of singing.
Okay, that's fair. That
I
makes
know
sense.
this. I know this. I can do it. I'm a bard, of course. Of course I can do it.
That's true. Okay.
It's the least I can
trust
do.
you.
I think I have an idea, but yes. I might know the song of the people, too. But, Belbin, what is your part in this? Are you just kind of watching from the background, or do you want an active part in this burial?
I think all Belvin will do is he'll just take some of maybe the ill-gotten gains from the cave and like flip some into the boat bodies, whatever, wherever it goes.
Burial of a
Does,
mummy king. I like it.
You
Does
can
Zill
go ahead
notice
and remove
Belvin
from
do
your
this?
inventory 12 EC.
Cool.
Does Zill notice him do this?
Are you being obvious about it, Belbin?
Depends on if someone's paying attention. I'm
But
not
so,
trying to hide, but I'm not making a scene of it.
go ahead and make a wisdom check for me, Zill.
Ooh, nah, dirty 16.
Yo, let's
you
freaking
definitely
go.
notice this. You actually
I'm gonna follow
make the
suit.
effort to see that. So yeah, go ahead and remove 12 EC.
Okay.
I like this new Zill. Maybe
And
the tides have turned.
I'm gonna have both Belbin and Zill make a piety skill check for me.
15.
Mm. 8.
8. Yeah, Belbin, you go over here and you were contemplating the words that you said to Zill about you hear this demon, but you don't hear anything else. But as you approach, you basically put essentially a coin in each of the coffins before sealing them up. You do almost feel something. It's not a voice, but you feel a little bit of a lightening of your heart. You can go ahead and remove 1 point of misery from you. And Zill, as you do so out of guilt, not necessarily out of genuine, yeah, I'll just do this. This seems kind of like the right thing to do. You don't remove any points, but
No.
Belbin does remove 1 point.
Are you in Vice yet, Zill?
No.
That's good.
It helps that I have a maxed out faith stat. Or no, almost maxed out faith stat. So I have 12 points of misery, but I have a 14 faith.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
That is good.
I'm close.
And with that, the funeral commences. And so, Luxalia, if you have any words to share with the crew, everybody has gathered at this point. The sun has set too. It's early dusk. And there's kind of like a small little like red fire kind of off in the background as the sun begins to set. But all of these coffin boats have been lined up along either side of the ship. And all of you are standing just at the rear of the ship as the ceremonies themselves have begun to commence. So if you have any words of anyone that wants to say anything, feel free.
Yuki's tuning her harp.
I will
Those-
just say a quick prayer
Embracing the moment.
and just say, Alomnia, be with your servants as they journey into the next life, and bless them and keep them till they are reunited with you in your realm. Amen. Not amen. Sorry. That's it.
And
Is that the equivalent? Is that the Lomnic equivalent? I like it.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
It is the Pidgin English equivalent.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
I like
it.
it. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, and so
I
Lyra,
have strayed. I have broken.
Lyra has also stands up amongst basically it stood up in front. Very nice words have been spoken by you this day, Luxalia. I want each and every one of us here as witnesses of this unfortunate occasion to be able to dig inside our own souls, our own hearts, for hope. There's hope that exists out there on the horizons, and that is why we sail, each and every one of us. We're chasing after something, chasing after purpose. But most importantly, the relationships that we built with each other along the way, fighting to protect what is good, to protect what is just. Very rarely, seldom do I serve crews where hearts are aligned the way that they are. We are going on a journey of significant importance. The fact that each one of us stand here today proves that we have a part yet still to play. To these faithful departed from each one of us, allow us to send our blessings out to them, and with them our blessings shall reach high to the heavens, to the gates of Landisrain. Let us give them each a moment of silence as she goes actually through and finds that in one of the rooms there was actually a bouquet of dried flowers, just enough for each of the coffins. Each of you go ahead, and she gives one to all of you, and you all line up and place one of each on the coffins before pushing off and sending them out. Yuki, do you have a song to sing?
She does. So she'll clear her throat. And she's like, I think this is a pretty common song. It is in Ever speech, so everyone who knows it can feel free to sing along if you know it. And she clears her throat, and she starts singing. I close my eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone. All my dreams pass before my eyes, a curiosity. Dust in the wind.
You continuously play your harp as you sing this.
Dust in the wind.
And you can hear Barnacle Bill humming along with his screeching vocal cords. I didn't bring my lute for this.
Same old talk. Just a drop of water in an endless sea. Yeah, like this. It's good. It's nice.
Yeah, each of these coffins, they sail off. And it's interesting because the current is being back in, but almost as if guided, each one of these coffins are able to clear the current that's coming in towards you and make their way out in all separate directions along, and you watch as they soon disappear into the horizon. Watching and gazing, thinking of the frailty of life. I'm gonna have each of you make faith survival checks for me.
Oh dear.
Well, you got what's it called? Inspiration.
Oh,
you need it.
Yes, you have inspiration if you need it, or blessings.
Oh, cool.
Survival.
I am gonna burn mine because that was a natural one.
Woo! Thank you,
Yes.
Tommy.
Yes.
Important is this roll.
It's up to you to determine that.
Belbin, he got a 12, but as he's watching the caskets go off, he'll just whisper under his breath, almost like, "Godspeed. May your destination be filled with the sweet nectar of Kamela's brew."
Pour one out for me and one for my homies. I get it. I get it. Thornton got a 13 and Yuki got an 18.
Okay.
Zil got an 18.
Okay.
Luxalia got a 10.
It's okay.
Those are all pretty good, actually. As they all fade away beyond the horizon, each of you are filled with a mixture of emotions. Sorrow, but ultimately hope. This is one of the things that's distracting you a little bit, Luxalia. Not too bad. Is maybe this is not the typical funeral that you have planned, and so part of you is trying to think logically through it and make it, as respectful as possible. But everybody else seems to be a little bit less tied to that, and so they see these all go off, each feeling their own different emotions. Nobody gains any points of misery, but nobody loses any either. As these caskets float off within the horizon. Which brings the group back to what to do now that you're stranded. So a couple of things, a little bit of some, maybe mechanical things that we can talk about. Repairing the ship, how that is going to look. And so if you look on each of your ship character sheet, your ship portion of that, you will notice that at the very top you will have remaining materials and then your maximum materials. I believe you're at 9 right now. And so for each material that you consume, you can decide amongst you how many of these remaining 9 to consume. Each material that you consume is going to heal 4d4, and before you roll that, you're going to have to tell me whether it's going to be used to restore hit points to the hull or the masts.
What's the one that's the worst? I can't remember off the top.
Both of them
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think the hull was damaged
Is-
much more.
yeah.
Whole right now we're at like a third.
If
Okay.
mine
The
is
mass were
correct,
55 out of 62.
the mass is 55 out of 62. The hull has 61 out of 188.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew, boy. All right, maybe we should focus more on the hole then. You know.
So
The
there's
water's coming through.
as you spend the next couple of days looking through to try to get the ship back to being ship shape, you notice that there are a few catastrophic breaks in the hull. If you were on the sea much longer, this thing would have been sunk to the bottom. But you do look at the masts, and you see that there are a few cracks. They seem strong. They seem sturdy. And with Barnacle Bill climbing up and down them, he doesn't seem to be having much issue there. And he's spent his time repairing sails, doing what he can for that. But I'm going to leave it to you how you want to allocate your resources, if you want to spend all of them or what you want to do. And then I'm going to actually nominate one person to make these rolls.
Okay.
Not me.
You know
You're
what?
rolling well today, though.
Yeah. I think we should
What is the roll again?
It's just-
4d4.
3d4.
4d4 per material.
Yeah. I think we should focus maybe enough on the whole. Maybe not use everything just in case, you know. But
Yeah.
I was thinking
I mean,
maybe
mass is doing
7?
decent.
7 total. And so maybe 2 for the mast, or 1 for the mast, and 6 for the whole.
Who's our navigator?
Currently, it's Thornton.
Thornton, yeah. Thornton is. I mean, Thornton can roll it if you
I'm
want him
not
to.
Riona.
Well, so, like, you guys all have your own kind of rules here
Different
on the
rule.
ship, but yes, technically, Riona is, like, the main navigator, but as far as, like, your actual ship rules for checks and stuff, that's going to be
Thornton.
Yeah.
So, but Zill's the engineer,
No,
technically.
I was just gonna ask Riona if you had a map.
Ah, that's a good
If you had a
point.
map that we
a good
could be
point.
like, how close are we to, somewhere where we could like
Resupply.
gain more resources to build the boat again. You know?
So, as preparations to fix everything are underway, I'm gonna. So, who's gonna be rolling these for me? You can actually roll them here on Verbal Board if you want to do it. Just like, what is it? So you're spending 7, so that's 28
Should we-
d4.
Do you want to do it,
Start
Zill?
with 6? Can we do
No.
6 and then add more later?
Yeah, we can start with 6. That's fine. Yeah, to start. So
One
5
goes
for,
to the mast and
5 for the thing. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, Thornton can roll it if you guys want him to, or I guess I can roll it for Thornton since he's the captain. He's my captain. I'll roll him on Vorpal board though. Let's see. So that's 4d4 plus for each thing. So first we'll roll for the mast.
How many are you using for the mast?
1. So just 4d4 for the mast. Okay. So d4. 1, 2, 1. How do I roll multiple at a time on Vorpal board?
So you can go ahead along the sides of them. You
Yeah.
have like an add, so you can go
Yeah,
ahead and click that,
I click that,
and then you just click 4 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 4? Was that 3? 4?
I got 2.
I see 3 of them.
Okay,
It was a
2.
2, a
Two.
3, a 2.
Okay, one more.
Oh, and once it's on there, so like if you see on the side, you can like, for example, add pluses to the amount that you're rolling to. So like on the side where it has like the D4 and result, it could be like D4 times 5. So basically you just have to select it and then...
I don't know how to do this.
It's fine. So
Okay.
currently that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hit points to
Okay, to the
mast.
mast. Okay, so it's -1 resource, 10 to the mast. That's good. We're at max for the mast now. So
Yeah, you're able to repair. You actually find that there's some very sturdy builder's resin actually within the supplies, and so you're able to fill in the small cracks that are within the mast.
Cool. And then yeah, okay. Kyle, do you just want to roll these for us since you know how to do it?
Sure. So how many are we rolling for?
We're
24?
rolling how many dice?
24.
24 dice, yeah.
Oh wait, no, we said 5. Are we doing 5 or 6?
5, because we did
20 then.
So
yeah,
20.
20.
All right. Oh, I can do 10 at a time, so I'm gonna do
Okay,
that. First 10. 29. Second 10. 29.
All right.
Nice.
So is that 58 or 58?
Yeah, 119 total, I think.
Yeah.
So you're able to do so, and you spend the next couple of days patching up. And Thordane, and Luxalia, and Riona, you kind of look at this map, seeing how close we are to neighboring islands. From what you can pinpoint, the cave that you're actually in does not seem to be anywhere on the map. If anything, it just looks like you are out in the middle of nowhere. And so Thordane, actually, with this being the case, he takes his map and he begins to fill in missing pieces for this map, as it were. And during the days, he's not helping with the building at all, but he's taken the ship's raft and he's been out kind of exploring kind of the coastline to see what this island looks like. It's mostly like giant cliffs that you would have to climb in order to get up onto the island, but he's able to find the general shape of it, and in the meantime actually do some fishing as well to provide food to everybody that's there. And so he does come back with the ability to be able to fill some of this out. But if you're looking for the closest island, I'm going to actually have Thordane make this roll, and because Luxalia is helping, this could be with hope. I'm going to have you make a knowledge skill check for me.
It's pretty good. 18.
18.
Yeah.
So you ponder over, and just from the general kind of whereabouts, and based off of weather conditions and everything that Thordane's able to deduce, the next closest island is probably about another week's journey, and this is going to bring you towards kind of the center of the inland strait, which leaves probably about another 6-ish, maybe 5 days from that location to restock to Fashion Fae.
Cool. By the way, are we able to use health dice and stuff in order to
feel
heal
free
this
if you are sleeping. So this has been 2 days. You can feel free to use health dice too.
How
2 days
much?
worth.
What's our max health dices that we have? Where do we check that?
You use it. You use the same every day, and so
okay.
There's
So
not
you
like
don't
a
run
ticking
out.
down. Yeah, you don't run out. It's just
Oh,
you
that's
only
good.
have an allotted amount every day that you're able to use.
Cool.
So we rolled 2 days worth of health dice.
2 days worth of health dice to heal.
6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14,
I need it. Goodness gracious, I need it.
18.
13.
And just a reminder, I haven't done this in a while.
Mhm.
It says health dice 2d8, so I just
Yes.
roll that twice?
Yes.
Or how does that?
So you have 4d8.
Do I have a
that you
certain
can roll.
amount to use, or it's not?
Nope. It basically, it's a never-ending resource, but you have to get the full allotted amount of sleep in order to use it. So, yeah, it's not like D&D where it's like you used up your health dice for the entire journey.
Yeah, that's
16.
that's what I was asking.
Back to full. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. You took like nothing. Goodness
That's me.
gracious.
Additionally, I'm gonna actually have you guys to go onto your character sheets, and in your crew, you have a crew. I'm gonna go ahead on Belbin's sheet and change the numbers. So at the very bottom, underneath your key crew members, you have your total expenses, and so there's actually math built into this. And so you lost your 4 normal sailors.
So that's 0. Okay.
You've lost your veteran sailor.
Poor veteran.
You've lost your guard.
Lost our mercenary.
Yes, you've lost your mercenary. Actually, no. You have your veteran. Hold on. How did I set this up?
We have our veteran?
Yes, I believe your veteran sailor is actually going to be
Balthazar.
Balthazar. Your guard is Finn.
Okay.
You don't have a mercenary. Your privateers, you don't have any of those.
Captain
Captain is Thordane. Your commander. Actually, no. So your captain. This is what we'll do. Your veteran sailors. Basically, you have one veteran sailor. You have 3. How many guys do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's going to be 1 veteran sailor and 8 regular sailors. That's what you're going to have. And then for heroes, that's going to include the 5 of you. So that's going to be 5. Passengers, you have no passengers and no VIP passengers. So your food cost per week is going to be...
Should we put captain and commander to 0 as well? Since we already added those into sailors and veteran sailor.
No. So the layout, how it should be right now, is you should have 8 sailors, 1 veteran sailor, and 5 heroes.
Okay.
So that means you per week, you're expending 3.5 food per week. So over 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Make sense?
Hold on, Kyle. I think that's what it should be. The cell was set up wrong. It should be 9.8, I think.
Oh, 9.8.
What was wrong?
It was only going from cell 99 instead of 97.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's with all of them. All the totals, I think, are...
Okay, yes. 99 to 97.
Just
or
a little
97 to 106. And so, what, 9.8 food per week?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So you're able to do that. So you travel, you get on board. Is there anything else that you want to do here before you all depart for this next island?
No. I mean, did we want to go back in?
A little bit about where the heck they went.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Feel free.
Hey,
Go ahead.
where'd you knuckleheads go?
We
While
like
we
a
were back here, prepping for
slaving away.
fuel.
we found a monastery of the Order of Amandalius.
Wow.
Secret,
Do
though.
I
You
know
can't
what
get
that
in there right now.
means?
Yeah, Amandalis, we have their key.
In it,
We have their key.
in
They're
it
the
there
ones
was
that
the
protected the
story
of
of Meliarch, who hunted the pirates of the sea
Yeah.
with this, and I pull out the is it the celestial bow?
Herring. Oh.
Thordane's
Yes,
mouth
we
starts
met-
drooling.
We met in Tulliant,
Wow.
He wasn't a very nice guy.
and
Wait,
brutal.
actually, Tulliant?
Tulliant. He's a guardian, I believe.
What?
That sounds pretty cool.
There.
That sounds like an
Is he still in
adventure.
there?
I don't know.
Good luck getting in.
Was it? What does that mean?
You guys got in and you guys got out fine.
Yeah, the door's closed though right now.
Also, am I able to just like draw out the runes that I saw in those books?
Yeah, I would say so. You spent like a good 8 hours there, so like
Great.
searching and doing this. So you're able to do that. I'll get that kind of etched out for you and sent to you at some point and translated
Yeah,
for you.
I write some of them out, and I'm like, Sally, do you recognize any of these?
Make a knowledge check for me.
Do I recognize this? Okay.
What language are they? Are they just
Nice.
runes?
They're runes.
Okay. Yeah, you would have no idea.
So I have a 2, but then it's +1 for like religious things.
Yeah, that would also apply.
Okay. Cool.
That's pretty good.
So 14.
14. You look upon them. You can't read them, but they do look very familiar. Actually, this language isn't the first time that you've seen it. Back when you were at the Shrine of Amaterasu, there was one book in particular that you had no idea and you could not understand that had this type of writing inside. And basically Lady Yua, who is the shrine basically matriarch that was there, she kept telling you that it's beyond your comprehension, it's beyond your understanding at this point, and that you'll eventually learn it at some point. But as far as like how it pertains to your training, you were pretty much like brushed away. It's like this doesn't have anything to do with your training at this current point. So
Nice. I do recognize it, but I never got to that point in my studies before I was wrenched out of the shrine.
I think, I mean, I can't recall when it started, but I think I've always been stronger than those around me, than the kids, the smith, even the guards, even all the people I got in fights with. I seemed to be able to take them no problem. And then you guys came around. We fight the Jabberwock, and I just jumped in. I've never fought a Jabberwock before. And I don't know, it seemed you've fought with me. You've seen some of the things I can do. I don't know where this stuff comes from. I don't know how I know it, but I just know it. It comes naturally. It comes instinctually in the fight. I think these runes might have something to do with that.
Are they evil-looking runes?
they just look like an old, basically like to you it would be like us looking at like hieroglyphics. It's just kind of like
Nice.
Cool. Nice.
Well, we have these at the very
Well,
least until we
that's
come
nice.
across someone. Yeah, we might come across someone who understands and knows what these are. Who knows?
I'm bummed I missed out on that, though.
How long are we staying here? How much longer will it take to build the ship back up?
well
in the
so
time?
that was 2 days worth of materials that you've used, and so
I'm
if you
assuming
want
at
to
this point we could go
you
in.
can continue sailing, charting your course for the next kind of restock.
Well, before that time, I'm assuming like the cave's opening at least 4 more times. You know, in the time.
Yep.
So I'm
If
sure
you
it
guys
looks
want
solid,
to
man.
explore
If you want
more,
to
feel
quickly.
free.
I don't know if we have to role play it, but if Yuki would like to see where they went at the very least, just to look.
Yeah, same.
Belbin and Zill, how much are you willing to go back into this area? Because they're going to need a little bit of guidance as well.
I'd go back.
I would reluctantly, but I would.
Thordane's like, I would like to investigate at least once.
Cool.
Sweet.
Okay, so you do, and you're able to see the majority of the rooms and everything that you saw, including the depictions on the wall of the dreadnought and the battle versus it, the giant crack that basically has sundered the wall, the closed off tomb that was once opened, all of the different rooms, the various rooms, such as the dormitories, the kind of office, library, a number of things. And you're able to do a decent amount of studying upon the texts, but a lot of it does seem very ancient and very old. A lot of it depicting events of the past and like kind of more like journal entries, diary type stuff. Some historical things, but nothing that catches too much of interest. But you do all of you make your way all the way down to the kind of main sanctuary area. And there's this blue mist that does sit upon the altar. But as you enter, each of you, you do not feel the same, including you, Belvin, you do not feel the same intense energy, as if something is definitely there, but there's nothing actively trying to keep you away from it now.
My heart must have been cleansed.
I don't know what that means, Belbin, but okay. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Oh, I do. He's a heathen.
Oh, when you put it that
Now that
way.
we're back in here, I forget how much money did we get from those bodies? I don't remember.
Oh, geez, I don't remember either. I'll have to
It's
go
in the
back and
session.
listen.
I'll put it up. Yeah, I'll put it up on YouTube to go and look. But
Whatever. So we already got rid of 12. I'm gonna take out 6 EC and just put it on the altar that we found, and just kind of like a silent, like, I'm sorry for stealing, for opening that tomb, for the desecration that I've committed.
Make a piety skill check for me.
It'd be good. That's a 12-sided dice. That's not gonna help.
no, that will not help.
Hold, please. Do I use it?
I don't know. It depends on how much you want this to be lifted off of you.
I do. I'm gonna use my hope.
Okay.
Oh, it was worse. That's a 10.
10. You plop this coin on the altar, and you can see as you put it down, it actually immediately begins to kind of like, like shake, like almost vibrate on top, to the point where it's like, and no, within time, it always falls off onto the floor. No matter how much you keep trying to put these coins on, it falls and like hits the floor around the altar. From what you can deduce, with this being a purified space, basically it doesn't allow for anything outside of its intended purpose, which is the bowl, which includes the water, and then the other side for the sacrifice, as it were.
Belbin, maybe you should stand on top of it and see what happens.
Belvin will attempt to lift
Or-
Luxali up and put
or
her
the
on.
sack.
Hey, what are you doing?
I pick up the coins and I put them in the side of the bowl for the sacrifice and pour a little of the water in.
Okay, so you do so. You put the coins in there, and they begin to shake violently. Like, it's weird, because the altar itself isn't shaking. It's not like the ground is shaking, but they begin to shake kind of like violently, kind of like vibrating, like you put coins on like a, I don't know, like one of those like shake machines. That's and you pour a water in the one side, and nothing happens other than the fact that you just hear this kind of ambient noise of coins jingling in this stone basin.
Okay.
What about Luxalia? Is she jiggling?
Luxalia, you stand on top of this altar, and you don't feel really much of anything. Your eyes are a little bit clouded from the blue hue that does surround the top of it, but you don't feel any kind of shaking, as it were. And you
Yeah, also, I'm not staying up on that altar. What?
okay.
I'm getting down. What are you?
you get down.
Yeah. You're weird, Belvin.
The coins continue to shake.
Cool.
Okay.
This is there's that passageway, I'm assuming, that goes right to the room, right?
Like the living space. Yeah.
Yeah, the living space, yeah. Okay. Was there anything else of interest that we could explore while we're in here, or are we good pretty much?
Let's go to that back to the room with the waterfall.
First,
Can we do that?
First, I'm going to have you all make a focus skill checks for me.
Uh,
14.
Yuki 15, Thordane 14.
13
8.
for me.
Yeah, Luxalia, you've spent a decent amount of time in prayer here. You definitely feel like this is a very much a holy place. And as you've investigated more, speaking of the kind of your curiosity with the Order of Amandalius, you were able to study it a little bit more and how it differs with the tradition that you have basically at the Shrine of Amaterasu, where it's interesting because you find that with this being kind of the original religion of Everlast, you can see how the Golivan tradition it has very much evolved to take on these principles. You still have practices of kind of old Golivan worship, but it's all now directed exactly towards what basically the Order of Amandalius has. And so this is actually a place that fascinates you, and you spend a decent amount of time in prayer. You feel that this is a very holy, studious place. And so you spend some time doing that. You're not focused about looking around.
Luxalia's not wanting to leave. She's going to stay here forever.
Have become a hermit.
True.
The rest of you, as you continue to look around, you actually do find that directly on the opposite side of the altar, against the wall, there is a sealed door that blends with kind of the siding of the wall, and there is a small little hole, a keyhole, that basically it's like this completely tight shut. You can see that there's a crease, but it's almost these stone doors that go from side to side, but it is currently locked at the moment.
Yuki walks over to it and donkey kicks it.
Go ahead and make a physical skill check for me.
That's really good. What's my physical score? It's been a while since I've done anything physical. It's +7. That's a 23.
You go over and you just straight up donkey kick this with all of the force that you possibly can, and
yeah,
there's actually dust that falls off from the walls as you do.
Sweet.
So you take
I never learned my lesson. What the heck?
6 points of impact damage
Oh,
from your knee.
Oh my gosh.
your knee is just vibrating like the altar.
Oh, that's a sturdy door.
And
Does anyone have a key?
you're able to just chip off a corner of like the inside crease.
Do we find?
Do I hear that?
Did we find?
Oh yeah,
keys while
yeah.
we were
You're
here?
in the room praying, and just like the whole like dust.
Did we find keys while we were here?
Hey,
Yeah,
no,
you found an entire key ring.
I'm just gonna go start trying keys.
Sorry, Luxalia. It's a door.
Nice try, Zill. I think I've got the keys, don't I?
I think Belbin does.
Yeah, Belbin's got the keys.
Then I'm gonna look at Belbin. Should we try some keys?
I'll have to unkeister them. But yeah, I'm down to try
Lord.
some keys.
Why didn't you mention you
I
had
ain't
keys?
touching them. Try that door.
The heck?
What? That's a weird
I
habit.
know which ones I've already used.
Yes.
So can I try-
You do. Like
how many are
most of
left?
the smaller key, like brass keys, are the ones that are like to like all of the living quarters. There are a few that you actually I think most of them you have used, maybe with the exception of one. There is a silver key, and it's got a small topaz gemstone in the hilt of it. You try
Let's try it.
and it immediately opens up
Oh,
as the
you guys
doors
didn't
slide
check thoroughly,
from
I guess.
as the doors slide from either side. Well, also in their defense, the session ended, so that's good.
True.
But yeah, so the doors slide on either side, and you find yourself into what looks to be a relics storeroom. There are a number of things that have cloths hanging over them, and you can smell must and mold coming from this area. You can tell this place hasn't been opened in at least hundreds of years. As you search through it, you can see that there are a number of artworks, kind of very old, elaborate artworks, paintings. as it were, and then you don't find any money or coin or anything, but you do see that there are a few kind of religious relics that are in here as well. And also in the back left corner, there is a small chest as well.
Yuki calls Luxalia over, seeing that the things that maybe Luxalia knows about or likes or has any knowledge of sorts. Luxalia, this room has some crazy things in it. Do you want to take a look?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I
come
finish my
over?
prayer, and then I come over.
You come over and you see everything that I had just mentioned.
Wow! Let's look at it.
Yeah. Investigate.
Is the trunk locked?
The chest is locked.
Should I donkey kick it?
Didn't you
No.
just hurt yourself?
Hey,
did.
wait!
But-
Belvin, you have a bunch of keys. Maybe try one of them on this chest.
Yeah, do I have any keys left?
No keys that you haven't used.
Here you go, Luxalia. Have fun.
Oh, thanks.
You
Don't
begin,
touch the brown key.
Topaz one.
you begin trying.
No.
You begin trying key after key, on this chest, as it were, and nothing really seems to fit. This is kind of an odd key shape, and from what you can tell as well, this thing, the lock itself has been badly salt damaged, and so it's kind of corroding and broken.
Yuki, don't we have the key from Amandalius?
Yes,
still
we
have
do, but I don't think it doesn't fit, right?
Earth key?
Right? Yeah.
There's a big chunker, a golden
Yeah.
key with an emerald in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Actually, a key of this size looks like it would be within a chest like this.
Yuki does respectfully donkey kicks the lock.
So it's a pretty small chest.
Wait!
Oh.
Why don't you just, chisel off the lock?
Well,
I
I
have to
guess,
donkey kick everything.
but it's just so fun. It's been a while, Luxalia. That's my strength is my strength. I'm not very dexterous.
My strength is my strength.
I don't know, unless anyone else wants to try. I can't see of any other thing. No? Okay, she respectfully donkey kicks it then.
Respect.
I mean, I did tell you to pry it off, but it's fine.
I don't have any pry tools.
It's fine.
Okay.
Just do it.
Physical strength check.
And I can take
Yeah,
one of
make
my
a
many
physical skill
blades
check for
out.
That's a 13.
13.
Yeah.
You place it on the ground. In front, you take it off of the kind of the crate that it was sitting on. Place it on the ground. You just go, boom, with your heel, just straight, just completely collapsing. It's made of wood, and so it just had rotted away and completely collapsing. Inside, you are able to find a necklace.
Oh. I don't touch it, but I look at it. I give it the squint eye.
It's bronze.
The topaz?
It's made of bronze, but additionally, in the center of it is a large gem that looks to be a turquoise.
Oh. So this is +1 to my fortitude, I think.
A bronze turquoise necklace. Essentially,
Sorry, that's sorry, I'm thinking about the ring. A bronze turquoise.
No. You're gonna have to make some elemental skill checks on this.
Oh, I can't just look at the items. I'm looking at the items though. But okay, I can make an elemental skill check, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. 10 plus, I think it's a 0. Maybe it'll be 2. I don't know. Hold on a sec. 10 plus 1, 11.
11. If you look at it, you're not familiar with something like this, but it is beautiful.
Luxalia, what do your Glyvin eyes see?
I see a necklace. What do you mean?
Can you deduce any
I mean, it's pretty.
alomnic power from it? Obviously, the necklace I gave
yeah.
you earlier has some sort of mana essence attached to it.
Yeah. Give me a second. Let me
It
hold
seems
it.
it's
Look at it.
turquoise, so it's blue. So maybe it has something to do with something blue.
Make an elemental skill check.
Water.
Dabba dee dabba die.
Sky.
Dabba dee dabba die. Dabba dee dabba die.
Elemental. 14.
14. You hold it up, and as you gaze upon it, your eyes almost like flicker as you see what looks to be maybe this like small bubbles kind of percolating in the center of it. But as soon as you see that, it immediately the vision of it vanishes. You have deduced that this gives you a lesser water breathing. So the wearer of this may add. So the way that mana works in this is you have a mana store, and then every time you equip an art, it gives you basically you consume that mana amount, and you can add it to your to this. So essentially, what this is it costs 1 mana in order to equip to your active arts. And as a support action, the wearer gives the ability to breathe underwater for 1 hour.
Yo, what?
Nice.
Who's the cruddy swimmer? Is that Zill? Is that Belbin?
I think it's Thordain.
I've
Forget
only got
it.
60 pounds of armor
He
on.
probably. That's true. That's true. Who could benefit from such things? I don't know. I think everyone could, honestly. Well, who wants a really cool necklace that you can breathe underwater?
I mean, you found it. You like doing crazy stuff.
I do, but I'm looking at Thordain.
And he's looking
Poor
at
guy.
you.
Poor guy. I remember last time when we were in the Earth Pillar Shrine, right?
Don't remind me.
All right, here you go, Thordain.
He looks at it and he shudders. Just before we did the cook-off of the ages, Gordon Ramsay, the
Oh, God.
I forgot.
Gordon Ramsay, the cultist.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back.
Well.
Sorry, guys. A joke from 1.5 years ago. Maybe 2.
Oh, I think it was longer than
2
that.
years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Anyways, he takes it graciously, so he can go ahead and add to his inventory a bronze turquoise necklace.
How do I add that specifically to my
Just go to his backpack and type it in.
Okay, cool. Nice. All right. Is there anything else, like any of these things that are covered that look interesting or that looks all you would know anything about?
They look old, they look ancient, they look to be very holy relics.
Okay, not gonna touch them.
Do I recognize any of them?
Yeah, so as you look, you notice that a lot of these relics seem to be used in a ritual. And so there are a number of basically golden plated vessels that seem to have held up decent. There's like a little bit of some kind of dinginess to them. The art themselves like depict a bunch of stuff, like stuff that like way before the time that the Goliaths actually came over to Everlast. So you look at these and you're unfamiliar with these. Like maybe some of them depict like some of the stories of basically Guardians of Past, but not a whole lot. Although one does actually, basically it's like a rolled up tapestry that you're able to kind of unfurl. It's very delicate actually. I'm going to have you make a stealth check as you, dexterity check as you unfurl it.
What?
A dexterity.
Dexterity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 13.
13. You do so carefully. And it unfurls on one of the crates in front of you, and you can see that it is actually a depiction of what looks to be a series of different scenes. And so there's 3 separate scenes at the top, middle, and bottom. The first scene, basically you see that there are these angelic looking figures that are around a throne, and one of them seems, these angelic figures seems larger than the others, and he's moving in a direction away down to what looks to be a tree, like toward a tree. And all of these other figures, angelic figures, are kind of, from what you could tell, following in suit. The middle section of it, you can see that there are all of them. Each of them have like weapons, and they're watching over what look to be farmers, tending to all kinds of cattle, that kind of stuff, and they're watching. And then finally, you see in the last part of the tapestry, the like large angelic figure holding up what looks to be a crystal, and he's peering deep into it. And you can see that there's a small amount of red that is within the very kind of core of this, and then that's all you're able to deduce from that.
Fascinating. I will relay that information. Or just show Yuki. Yuki, look at this! Isn't this cool?
That's really
what
cool.
What could it mean?
I don't know, but I don't really want to touch it. It's scary.
Oh.
I mean, it's beautiful,
Okay.
don't get me wrong, but...
I pray to Alamnia for guidance. Alamnia, should these things stay where they are? Or should we bring them out into the light once more?
Make a piety skill check.
And then I wait and listen. Oh yeah! Nice. Good thing I'm pious.
I'm liking the sound of that
15.
dice tower. That's nice. 15.
Right?
You pray about it and you think about it. You don't hear any immediate answers, but you do get this deep, sinking feeling that there is a reason these relics exist here, as they are ancient, and it is away from basically the world outside. From what you saw from something, for example, like this tapestry, you do fear by bringing it out that it would almost immediately crumble as it gets exposed to the outside air. These things are like old and brittle, kind of like, think of like in people who go like digging in I don't know, like pyramids or something, like stuff that's like super ancient, and like if they're able to find anything of like cloth that's intact, they have to have the highest care of attention in order to take it out, like put it behind like glass and like all that kind of stuff in order to make it like not decay. So it's one of those, it's kind of one of those things where like you see these as priceless artifacts that could be sold for a pretty penny, could be brought and maybe displayed somewhere. But one thing that you do fear, especially being on a ship, is it going to survive the travel? So with that being the case, I'm going to leave it up to you based off of that, what you want to do with them. Leave them be or take them with you.
What's your Glyven I see, Luxalia?
I will write down in my journals and annals and work with what's her bucket, Riol face. I almost said Riolu. That's not her name. Riona.
Riona.
And I'll basically just like mark that they are here and like put it on a map so that in the future, if like you wanted to do a specific voyage, someone could. But I'll leave them for now.
Okay. What about the rest?
And I'll
of you?
also
What do you
write down
think?
the things that I like, that I gathered.
Yeah, Yuki's still not touching anything. She doesn't want to. She learned her lesson.
Belbin knows what goes on in these places. He's not touching anything either. He's keeping his hands to himself.
Zill.
Oh yeah.
I'm just chilling.
Okay. And with that, you all make your way over to some of the other places you haven't visited, including the fountain of basically overflowing waters. You take a look at that, and all of you do catch kind of the glimpse. And Belbin, you're actually particularly drawn to this water, as it's something that, in a way, captures your heart. You gaze upon it, but as you touch it, as you drink from it, you kind of still feel this emptiness, like it's not quite quenching your thirst. But you look at this as like something that like should be doing it, and so it's a little bit frustrating at first. But all of you each take turns kind of consuming this water, and I'm gonna have all of you make faith survival checks for me.
Oh Lord.
Belbin's a heathen.
Come on.
Okay.
Ooh,
Why are we drinking the city water?
Let's go.
20.
Faith.
Nice.
Holy smokes.
Because you gotta have faith, faith, faith. You gotta
It is
have
a 14
faith.
for Yuki. And a 16, dirty 16 for Thordane.
Okay.
Nat 16 for Zill.
Yo, let's go.
Ooh.
And Luxalia,
20.
20. So,
20.
Zill, Luxalia, and Belbin, you all gain a blessing.
Let's go.
Nice.
What I'm talking about.
Can we have multiple?
No, you can only
Of
have
those?
one blessing at a time. So,
Do you want to share that blessing?
Of course you can. I'll give
Thordane
you
also
a
gets a
hug.
blessing,
Yeah.
even though I'm pretty sure he has one.
He has one already, but it's
Yeah.
fine. He's like, this is great water, exquisite.
The freshest of the fresh.
Delicious.
Okay. But other than that, there's not a whole lot else to look at in here to capture your attention. And you spent the couple of days, pretty much Thordane. He's like, yeah, I was in here once and I'm good. If you wanted to come back and like look at things, study some more stuff, you can do so over the repairing. But they also Tolly is very hands on as well. He's getting all the help that he can get, and so any time that he's having you help. And it actually does come into fruition as the ship itself and the hull begins to be repaired to the point where it is very saleable. It's not 100% ship shape. I think so. It's not 100% healed.
No, it's still damaged, I think, the whole, but...
Okay. So you're able to plug up basically the hole as much as possible with the materials that you have. But he says, "Oi, barring any... well, unfortunate mishaps, this should be able to get us to our destination and no problem."
Nice.
Well, let's be careful. Hopefully we can avoid that terror of the sea. That was awful.
Sweet. And with that, the group of Eclaas, Eeas, along with the remainder of the crew, begin to set sail out onto the high seas of Everlast. As you do so, who do we have as kind of like the lookout role? Who's that?
That
I think that was me and Zill.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have each of you make focus skill checks for me as you leave the cave.
Oh gosh. Are we sure we want to do this?
Wait, isn't it Belbin? Hold up.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No,
Yeah, it's
Belbin's the
Belbin.
scout.
Oh, well, here for the travel rolls, it says lookout
I
is
think
Belbin.
Bill died.
Zill died. Yeah, literally.
Wait, but we were the ones that were like looking like.
Oh, that's
the
true. We
crow's
chose
nest and
before
stuff.
we forgot about that.
Here, I think
But
I-
Zill was, or Belbin was the one who was the lookout itself.
No. So basically,
that's
he has scouting rolls, and so on his scouting
Oh.
table, he
Gotcha.
rolled to see basically if a Zaeldoom was a thing, which Zill rolled for him because
Yeah,
Connor
that's
wasn't
true.
here for that.
That's
and
right.
so,
Okay.
but he's the one who did notice that, but because he's kind of like scouting out, not necessarily like doing like the lookout. Like lookouts, like their job on the ship is to like see if there's islands, to see if there's like the stuff in the like kind of far distance, not necessarily a general vicinity type thing. That make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So, both of you, your focus skill checks, what were they?
30, 16.
No, sorry. Yeah. I rolled a 13 plus 3, so 16.
16.
Also, wow. Look at
Ooh.
us.
That's good. So you begin to set sail on the high seas, which is really good. As you do so, you notice that it's clear waters all around you. Any fear that you have of a Zaeldoom sticking around seems to not be the case as you begin to journey days on days, in relatively good spirits. The ship itself seems to be sailing okay, but you can see that with a small tar bucket and basically a paintbrush, Tolly has been very busy at himself, like looking to see are there any places that like water's leaking through, and there are, which he patches up a little bit. But he's essentially keeping this ship completely afloat as you continue to navigate through. Fortunately, your sails are good and your mast is good, so you're able to go in the general direction. And you notice from your initial departure roll, that the wind still is at your backs, and so you are going full speed ahead. I am going to have Thordane go ahead and roll for me D16 plus your wisdom.
That is a 13.
13.
Yeah.
And so you sail, and especially into the night, you do hear that there are a number of calls in the distance, to which Thordane immediately tells everybody on ship to douse the lights. You look out.
Here we go again.
Far on the horizon. You look out far on the horizon and you see probably on 2 ships. They look relatively large. One of them definitely looks larger than the ship that you have. And you can hear that the 2 ships have people calling back and forth to each other. It's not audible. You cannot hear, but you can hear the sound of men's voices calling back and forth to each other. I'm going to have Belbin make a stealth check for me.
By the way, Luxali, did you ever use your health dice to heal?
Yeah.
You're still bloodied?
Just the 2 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
That'll be an 8.
an 8.
Yeah, I was down to 20 HP out of 76, and I
Oh
healed
boy.
16.
Oh my gosh.
So one thing that you can do is
Yeah.
you can utilize medical supplies as well as kind of things that you want to do during the day, I believe. So you guys have 6 on it to begin with. If you want to spend a medical supply, you can heal everybody 2d8 plus basically
piety.
your piety score, so whoever's
Okay.
healing. So
Do you want to
1d8.
do one of those?
However, you're also
Can't
at
heal
sea,
yourself.
and you can rest, do your normal rests as they were. So 3 days have passed. You can expend
Another
healing dice
health
as it is.
Sweet. Okay.
3 more days of healing dice.
Or 1 more day of healing dice. 1 more day or 3 more days since we've been on sea?
3 days. Hey Nate, I'm great. Nate, I'm great. Hey, how's it going? How you doing, buddy? Well, thank you so much for the raid. Our campaign is going really well. They're at sea. They repaired a ship. They're out at sea. It's good stuff. This is the rare occasion that I'm able to actually see somebody, so to see the chat. So that's good. Great, Nate. I am great. Ha, ha. That's awesome. Okay. So go ahead and heal up whatever you guys rolled, but yes, the night has begun to set sail, and the lights have been doused. Fortunately, you're able to do so soon enough for the ships in the distance to slowly make their way past in the opposite direction. Your ship for the evening has gone completely unnoticed.
Nice. That's good.
Some player shenanigans. Oh yeah, you missed some player shenanigans.
Douse the light.
But yes, you continue onward on your journey for about another 4 days until you see this island that Thordane, Luxalia, and what was her name?
Riona?
Riona.
Or no?
Yeah, Riona saw, and you're able to see that it's a small, tiny little island chain, to which it seems like actually a pretty common stop for most people or like most ships, especially travel ships. And Riona is very familiar with this island, actually. There are rules about this island, however. There's nobody who lives there, but it's kind of a trader's code that you only take what you need from this in order to preserve it for the rest of everybody. And so if you wish to do so, you can spend a day to gather resources for the island, which includes things like shipping materials, which includes things like food, and additionally medical supplies. There's going to be no ammunition or anything on this island to be able to do that, but I'm going to have each of you have kind of a different role in this. So for medical supplies, I'm going to have Luxalia. You are going to search basically around for that, and this is going to be a piety skill check for me.
We're maxed out on medical supplies, though, aren't we?
If you're maxed out on medical supplies, then you're good. You have the
we're
maximum.
6 of 6.
Cool.
We're 6 of 6.
For building supplies,
Oh,
I'm going to have Zill go ahead and roll for building supplies. So this is going to be a
Focus.
knowledge skill check. Focus skill check for that. And then for food, I'm going to have Belbin, Yuki, and Thordane. All of you are going to make focus skill checks for me.
Okay.
How much have we consumed at this point? I'm sorry. How many weeks has it been?
1 week. 1 week. So 9 and
9.3.
9.8. So whatever you guys are at right now.
Okay.
Rolled a 19.
I rolled a 9.
19,
Yuki
19.
rolled a 7 and Thordane rolled a 13.
Okay. So Zill, with the crew that you have, you go out to kind of farm some of these palm trees and other building materials. You're able to bring back the better part of 6 building materials. So you're able to add that to your ship's stocks of where you're at. So Belbin, what was your roll?
19.
19. Yuki?
7.
7, and then Thordane.
6. How many materials?
Thordane was 13.
6 materials, building materials.
But how many
Or
did we
ship
use when we were
materials.
repaired?
7.
We had 3 total left.
So we're up to 9. Okay. Great.
Between the lot of you, you're able to find some decent food that's out here on this island, and you're able to restore food supplies. You're able to restore 8 food to your food
Almost
supplies.
max.
Almost max, yeah.
And
almost max.
almost
I'm
max.
sorry.
You climb back aboard as you expect probably about another 6 days towards Feshin Fay. But from all around you that you can see, it's still open water and open sea. I'm going to have each of you make mind survival checks for me.
Oh,
Ooh.
oh no. That was not smart.
Well, you have a blessing to use. Technically.
Yeah, I'm going to use one because I rolled a nat 1.
Whew. Mind for survival, you said? Yuki got a 19.
Yeah!
Thordane got a 9 plus 6. What is that?
15.
15.
Belvin, what was yours?
12.
12.
And I used my
Luxalia?
blessing. Just
Okay. Luxalia?
18.
18. Okay. And then Zill?
18.
6.
6. So you're all able to
After the hope.
yeah, after the hope. Oh geez, you're all able to find yourselves, keeping busy. There's jobs to do everywhere, and in fact, the vast majority of you are actually kind of starting to enjoy time at sea. There's this sense of safety that's come upon you, the sense of camaraderie too that you've built with the crew. There's definitely a few that each of you have kind of taken likings to, and have taken likings to you as well. Like Luxalia, you spent a lot of your time not only with Lyra, but one person that you've come to like a decent amount as well is Riona. You've been learning about how to use maps. You've been learning about how to navigate and how to track the waters. She's been teaching you about while sailing, the different ways that you feel the waves and how you navigate on the waters without causing too much rocking. You could tell she's very skilled at what she does. So you've grown pretty close to them. Belbin, on your side, you've actually grown really close to Bree. The two of you are kind of peas in a pod, but she also doesn't take any of your crap. Like the stuff that like you're bringing up, like, you know, maybe you're feeling down. She's like, "What the heck are you doing? Buck the heck up! Like, what are you like? We've got jobs to do." And like, if you're like being a little bit too much, she snaps back at you. "Hey, stop that! Get back in line. You have a job to do. Basically, you have a job to do."
Does she use Martha on?
I was gonna say, has she
has not
has she
used
figured out
Martha.
that I'm just trying to use her to get to Martha?
Make a stealth check for me.
9.
9. She has her hunches, but she definitely is keeping you in check. Actually, you two, where you have grown closest is at mealtime. So Remy has been making really good food, and the two of you have kind of just been talking about some of your backgrounds and the hard things that you've gone through each in your lives, and you can actually relate a little bit to that. Thordane, oh yeah, him and Captain Balthazar. Basically, Thordane is becoming Captain Balthazar.
Har for science.
Yeah, for science. No, Thordane's learning a lot about how to navigate the seas, the kind of the thing or two about becoming captain. And it's not just a headship position, but he really needs to, like, as far as like learning rules of leadership and whatnot, and all the things that need to happen in order to keep a ship functioning. Thordane's actually learning how to oversight that role very, very well. Yuki, you have grown decently close, actually, to Asariel in particular.
I thought you were gonna say Barnacle Bill for a second. I'm like, oh Lord.
No. She's been
Sorry,
been very quiet and kind of as like a motherly figure. You've been going to her and trying to help her open up, to which she has to a degree. She spends most of her time in the crow's nest, and you can tell that she prefers solitude. But the more time that you spent with her, the more she's actually open to your company as well. And then on the other hand as well, you've grown decently close to Finn. You've learned how to man the ballistas, how to change everything, like pretty much like every day, how to maintain them and to keep them ship shape. God forbid anything does end up happening on the sea. And so he's been helping you a lot with that, and you can tell that he's not only knowledgeable, but the things that he does and the things that he says, like you can tell he's kind of got this noble heart, but there's this underlying sense of how do I explain? His experience that he has brings him a little bit of impatience, and he kind of looks down on those who are not able to learn. And so, with that being the case, I'm going to have you make a mind survival check for me.
No! All right.
Oh no.
Okay, that's not a bad roll. I'm not good at mind, but that's a 19.
19.
Yeah.
You impress him. He's able to be like, wow, you're a very fast learner. This is very impressive. Very, very few in my time have been able to keep up with, well, at least my preferences as far as how things should be maintained. I think we can make a sailor of you yet.
Well, I mean, I come from a place that I have high expectations, so I'm used to having to try my best to meet them. So,
Zill, you cannot get away from Tully.
No.
he hates Jill too, doesn't he?
Every time you are taking a break, Tully is on you and berating you. There is so much to be doing on this ship. Tell me, are you getting seasick? Or like another time, he's saying, "Oh, if you're not gonna be sick of the sea by the time I'm done with you, you're gonna be wishing you've never set foot on this vessel," and like things like that. Like he is just berating you up and down.
This is my ship I invited you on.
Aye, and good thing you did. It's because of me that we're able to stay afloat. And he basically has been walking around. You, my friend, need to be keeping an eye out here. If you see anything that is of issue of this ship, you need to warn me. You need to let me know these things. And if I find that you are keeping something from me, oh, there is going to be hell to pay.
I want this ship to succeed as much as you do.
I don't think you do. I see a lazy bone on you, and he pokes you hard in the chest. It just seems like you are here as a passenger on some kind of vacation while all the rest of us are working. And
you know how many vacations I've taken in my life, Tully?
Well, clearly you lived in paradise in Takai Town. Ugh, I told you it made you soft.
That was the only vacation. And it was interrupted by an evil sorcerer. What do you want from me?
Make a charisma survival check.
Oh, gosh. 15.
15. He keeps pushing you, and he keeps pushing you, but you have a willingness to learn. One of the things that you've realized during your time here is you haven't been able to spend as much with the rest of the crew as you want, with totally breathing down your neck in any way. But you can tell that there's a piece of him that is, well, somewhat impressed with the fact you're able to keep up with this constant braiding. And he's always saying, oh, you have just 2 more days and you'll be lasting any longer than any apprentice that I've seen, or like something like that. Like a lot of those types of comments kind of under breath. But you started to realize that it's not necessarily because he hates you, which maybe that's kind of how it seemed at first. This is just his personality, and because he's very antisocial and not good in social situations, any kind of attention that he's gotten from you, he's actually become comfortable enough to talk with you about certain things. But with that being the case, he's putting you to work real hard. And so it's not as restful or as enjoyable as a voyage as it's been for everybody else.
Great.
Time passes.
Yeah.
You continue to sail. And immediately you can see off in the distance a distant shoreline. 2 of them, in fact. And they're both large masses. What was his name? Captain Balthazar, he says, Oi! It seems that there's a land ho. I say we have, to our left. That is going to be, Fulden Rock. You know, it is a man-made village, and it is where a number of us swashbucklers have been born and bred and trained our whole lives there before making our way onto the open seas. This is the place that you want to go if you want to find a good time. But there, on the right, that is the coastline. And you can see Thordane actually looking off, kind of longing. You see these mountains rising in basically in the distance before it does kind of come to a close far, far off in the distance. And there on the other side of those mountains, that is the elven city of Feshenfey. In about 2 days' time, we shall be making port. And I will tell you, if you do not know what to expect of this city, oh, your mind will be quite pleased. And he goes to be able to kind of explain the people and the customs of Feshenfey, and they seem like very genuine, good, but an ancient people. Their civilization, these Feshenfey elves, have endured a lot. And you're actually surprised because the amount of stories that Balthazar tells about seeing a Feshenfey elf here and there swimming in the ocean on the hunt while he's been sailing. You haven't seen that yet, but he just keeps saying, oh, your eyes, it is a matter of time. It's going to be an eye-opener to all of you. And with that, 2 days pass as you begin to near the city, and you can see This city is immaculate. It glitters in silver as it rises above the harbor. It's a crescent harbor that that has built, and there are a number of buildings in white sandstone that basically stand erect, perfectly maintained, not sun bleached at all. And as you go closer into the harbor, you can see that, from what you can see from the surface, that's not all of the city. You look down and you see these crystalline waters beneath you, and you can see all the way to the bottom. The city itself is built into the water and down beneath along the ocean floor as well. And so you see what you can see on the land. Yeah, that's about half of the city. And you can see that most of it are these silver, almost kind of like steel looking towers. Very beautiful, and the shape of them seems almost to resemble seashells or like a reef piercing from the water above. And down below you have more of these white sandstone homes, and you can see that there are people swimming to and fro, living their lives beneath the sea. And that is where we are going to close tonight's session.
Oh,
Dang.
we're
It
there.
reminds me of the last chapter of Ways of the Dawn Treader.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, is there a city like that?
Let's go.
I've never read it. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, no, it's okay. Basically, like, the waters get, like, really, really clear the closer they get, like, the further they go east.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, like, you can, like, see, like, people living under the water. It's cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
like, this city is it's incredible. It's one of those where like the sheer beauty of it like is difficult to comprehend. And so this is a treat for each of you to be able to behold, and actually it's very inspiring. Like, it makes Decay Town seem like a dump, the way that this is.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Nice.
And Decay Town
Let's
is pretty
go.
nice.
Thorny now has dreams of becoming a fish elf. He clutches his necklace. He's just like, I want to be where the fish and fae are.
By the way, to answer your question, Dane, is Fulden Rock like Tortuga?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to find that out.
Oh,
Because your
snap.
adventures will eventually take you to Fulden Rock as well.
Yeah, what Captain Balthasar was talking about, it sounds like exactly like Tortuga. Pillaging and shenanigans and pirates and swashbuckling.
Oh,
Maybe there will be a
all the
pirate
stuff.
named Jack there. Who knows?
Pirate named Jacques. No, but that's if you remember, that's where the Monteblair family currently
Oh yeah,
resides.
that's right.
So.
We have to go there for one of the keys, right?
Yep, for the Storm Key.
Sweet. Right.
Quickly before we head
Yippee.
out, thoughts on tonight's session for each of you. This is something kind of new that we're going to be doing going forward here, just to kind of get your thoughts before we do close off the stream. So let's go ahead and start with Max.
I don't know. You know, encountering a guardian, it'll change you.
Yeah.
It will.
Zill's learning. Zill's growing. He's excited to see where it's going, where these adventures take him, and hopefully he learns to be a better person. If for nothing else, for Waffle.
My mouse, it knows everything about the moral ways of life, and he'll be proud of you.
But I think there's still going to be a lingering attachment to his wealth.
Yeah, absolutely.
While he's ready to learn to become more honest in how he gets it, he's not going to be as generous as someone like Yuki is.
Yuki's too generous to a fault, honestly. It's awful.
I know.
It's horrible.
So,
It's horrible. I hate it.
but it was cool to, actually kind of start. I know Misery's been around for kind of the whole time, but haven't really done much with it. It's like, okay, I get where I lose points, but it doesn't change how Zill plays. And so it's fun to start to actually try to incorporate that into his decisions, his character, and we'll see how that looks maybe it'll be somewhere it doesn't influence enough, and some it influences too much, and hopefully it'll balance out.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that's interesting too about you, Zill, and kind of your whole character arc as far as the Aishin Archipelago goes, it's neat being able to look in and see kind of some of you're searching for these answers for, you know, about kind of like the rune lords and like all that kind of stuff. And so like it's cool that like finally like some of those like answers that you've been having for the entirety of this adventure, why am I suddenly able to understand void speech, like all that kind of stuff. Like it's cool to see that that's beginning to be answered, and like that you're actually intentionally seeking for answers as opposed to me hand feeding them to you, because like it could have been I could have just like let you leave that place and then be like, all right, well,
depending on how this descent into runes goes, Zill might be getting some tattoos.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
If there's any, the idea is if there's any runes that like particularly like connected to him, he might start like getting them up his arms.
And what he won't realize is the rune will mean Kung Pao chicken in runic language.
But that's kind of the plan with the descent into runes. So we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Cole, what were your thoughts as Luxalia tonight? By the way, good to have you with us. I know you've been a busy boy.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I was back and playing, and yeah, it was kind of fun to explore some of the emotional like sides of Luxalia as she, you know, prepared all the dead bodies, but then also like encounter all the things in the what is it, like a temple? Is it like a monastery? I'm not really sure, but it's cool. Yeah, so I mean, and I had some really good rolls tonight, which is always good. I forget how much freaking faith she has, because I literally, like, when I got a 10, I rolled a 2.
So she's maxed out.
I was like, oh man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know. So yeah, so it's good to be back and kind of explore her character a little bit today. And I don't know, I feel like often don't always get to kind of explore the more emotional, like slow side of things. So that was good, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Connor, what are your thoughts about tonight's session?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Belbin, kind of same lane as Zill, of you have this powerful experience and you're coming back into the world and you're like, I'm a changed man. But the big question is, the farther away you go from that experience, is it going to stick? We have to see with Belbin, but for me personally, pretty bad rolls. I had to burn through quite a bit of blessings. So
there were lots of opportunities. So this was an interesting session where there were a lot of opportunities to gain these things. And as for those of you watching, as a Fate Weaver, feel as generous or as stingy as you want to give away blessings. But the way that I'm using kind of this Fate Weaver mentality is, as Cole had mentioned, this was kind of an emotional session and going, I think, a lot deeper into kind of the own psyche of the characters, which I think is an appropriate time to be able to, you know, based off reflection, based off of experience, to be able to provide things like blessings. And we also had, you know, some outside help with Kami and whatnot too. So it was really cool to be able to, which actually, that's interesting because Kami literally is like God in Japanese, and so like God is giving the blessing to. So that's interesting, but. Yeah, it's cool. And like, especially with like kind of the whole rolling mechanic as like the Fate Weaver, like I love this idea of, you know, it's up to the dice, but it's just like, oh, it's really like up to fate to see like what ends up happening, to see like who survives, like what rolls are passed, like what rolls even with blessings are destined to be failed, like whatever the case. It's very interesting to see that.
Cool. Yeah, but then I think Zill, you're the one that said it too. The more prominent the misery and virtue scale becomes, the more when you're playing your character, you have to double like think and be like, would Belbin actually do this? I don't know. And there's somewhere it's just like, yeah, he's gonna do it. But it does make you think twice about your actions.
Yeah, I know, like, in a lot of systems, particularly systems like D&D, where you have, like, that sliding scale between, like, a lawful good or, like, just, like, chaotic evil. Like, you have all kinds of different players, but I think with that, it makes people stuck with playing their characters in a single way, which what's interesting about role-playing games, in my opinion, is based off of experiencing scene change. And with this kind of virtue and vice system, I think it really heightens that awareness where it's just like you're aware that you're gaining these things. And so you don't have to necessarily be stuck, because if you do become stuck and you continuously play your character as a murder hobo, like you might be like becoming rich, you might be kind of getting like all this loot or getting things your way. But it doesn't break the game, because eventually you lose your character because of that. And so like it really forces you to think as a player. It's like, okay, I technically am a hero in this world. And that's kind of the difference between like Everlast and maybe some of these others, is you are quintessentially a hero in this world fighting for good. But as part of that human condition, we all have the ability to fall. And so with that, there comes spiritual and physical repercussions of that. And so as, you know, we go through our own daily lives in this world, and we encounter things like sin, we encounter things like, you know, religious experiences, whatever the case, it changes who we are and it changes how we act. And so that's how it should act within Everlast as well. Hence the reason it's one of the main mechanics of kind of what I want, of not only sharing the gospel message, but by virtue of playing this game, you come away a better person than when you start playing it, instead of just having this escapism into like, oh, I have like these repressed desires to be evil, so I'm going to do that. It's like, there's still that, you know, that level of, you know, if you become evil, your character will just die, essentially. So descending into madness. Which I mean, that's one way. If you want to get rid of a character, you could play it that way. But you roll a character. But yeah, it's interesting. But I don't know. I like the system, and I wanted to make it more prevalent, because it's been something that's kind of been on the horizon. But I kind of feel bad a little bit as a Fate Weaver not implementing it as much as I should have, because it could be one of those systems that easily sits in the back, which is kind of important to Everlast as far as like what the message of it and what the ultimate goal is. Like, obviously it's supposed to be a fun game, but yeah, I want people that play this game to come away as a better person than when they and again, even if like you are in the case of Belbin, where it's just like you've gone down this rabbit hole of like perpetual like badness, experiencing terrible things, it's like it takes you in your real life a step back to be like, oh man, like now I have a more heightened understanding of like what is good, what is bad, and like how do I make my own choices in my life. So even if it's like a bad session like that, I think it really helps people kind of come up with that, especially if you have like a Fate Weaver that's like sticking to kind of that, but also like players, like how are players helping these other people that are in these bad places as well. So
yeah, and for a little bit of background to the audience, why did misery suddenly matter from a roleplay perspective rather than mechanical today? Like I asked Kyle before we start, because we jump on 15-30 minutes before we start the stream, and I asked him, like, would Zill feel the misery? Like, yeah, I know the sheet has more points on it, but would Zill feel it? And that's kind of where that decision came from today, why it hasn't happened, because I didn't think about it that way. I just thought of it as like, oh, it's a mechanic. Yes, it is, but it's also a role-playing tool. So that's why the change started kind of abruptly, even though realistically it would be building up to with misery. I just didn't think about it that way.
And finally, we have Dane.
First and foremost, make sure everyone, we got 2 days of extra adventuring on the sea. So use your healing dice for 2 more days if you haven't.
I am full.
I'm full too. Yeah. I think everyone's back at full. But no, it was a really good session. It's been a long time, I feel. Again, our last session was a month ago, and unfortunately I had to miss that one. And for me, I'm used to being here every single week. So for me, it's really felt like a long time since I've actually sat down and played an Everlast session. But I think a couple of the keys that I took from this session itself have kind of been said a little bit, but I really enjoyed a lot of like the extra role play that we had. I feel like we are a pretty fun group and we have fun with each other and whatnot. But I think we did really dive a little bit more into like each other's psyches and where we are. Because again, the group had come off of a tragic scene by like everyone dying, and it like you're not going to be yourself, you know, initially. And so it was good to be able to process that with the group itself, and our characters process it. I think back in particular with Yuki talking to Luxali about that thing. And I know Yuki as a character, like she has a belief in Alomnia or whatever, but she's not necessarily like as avid of a devotee as say someone like Luxalia, and things in the world of Everlast definitely weigh, I think, a little bit heavy on her because of that. And so having someone like Luxalia and just the rest of the crew in general to be able to think through and process the things such as the loss of life, I think is valuable for a character like Yuki, and it like leads to some, I think, nice role play opportunities as well. But aside from that too, like I like the ship mechanics, that it's always fun learning about it. I feel like today was the first day that I've really kind of gripped on how to use it properly now, and like read the sheet properly. So mechanics wise as well as like roleplay wise, I think it was a good session for Yuki and myself. So,
and it also helps me to like me looking at the sheet after a very long time to be like, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And so like it gives me the potential to be able to go through and improve the things that I'm doing on my end too. And that was a nice performance of Dust in the Wind.
I just think of that what was that, the Will Ferrell movie when he starts singing that at the end.
I think it's Old School or something.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I just thought that. And I was reading the song because I was looking at the lyrics. I'm like, oh, there's like that entire like phrase and stuff about like the endless sea. I'm like, this is perfect for this specific situation. So I just had to.
Yeah, it's a good one. I actually went to go visit my my grandpa-in-law, being here in visiting my in-laws, and on Thursday, and the entire way it was like kind of rainy. I'm like, this is a day to visit like a cemetery, but the whole way I was just like, oh yeah, like I was just like singing Dust in the Wind, and so I was like, oh, that's good. But,
it's
yeah,
ironic.
it's good. It's
connected
good
in that way.
Pray for the dead, by the way. Do it. It's very important. But with that, a couple of things for the upcoming week. I had a really fun time. You heard my thoughts about today's session. It was good. Hopefully we'll be getting into a little bit more of some combat again soon. I know it's been a long time since combat has really been a thing, but we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Yeah, coming up for this upcoming week, I'm here maybe through next Wednesday, maybe a little bit longer. So my stream times are still going to be starting at 8 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. JST. I might actually just plan on moving it to just 8 a.m. JST just in general for now, because I kind of like the time for it. But yes, so I'll be continuing some Tears of the Kingdom on Monday and Wednesday. On Thursday or Tuesday, Dane will be playing some more Tears of the Kingdom. And then on Wednesday, we have Tears of the Kingdom in the morning, and then we have Adventures in Middle-earth, our D&D 5e supplement of the Lord of the Rings, taking place in the world of Middle-earth between the years of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. And the party is currently in the throes of Mirkwood, dealing with all the way that Mirkwood messes with your mind. So that's really fun. If you need to catch up with that, definitely make sure to check all the previous sessions out on YouTube. And then on Thursday, Date will be continuing some Tears of the Kingdom, and then Friday are we having a Coal Forge Great Max?
Anything planned or not?
No. For those of you who are in Cole, you want to share?
I'm moving.
Yeah.
So,
good luck. Good luck.
That's the day we start driving out.
Okay.
So
no problem. Good luck.
So I probably won't be doing it. Honestly, maybe July.
Yeah, no problem.
Until I get settled.
I get that. Honestly, too, though, like let me know ahead of time, guys, because if I'm available and I'm free to do so, I can fill those sessions. I filled it a couple weeks ago as well, and I don't mind doing it. Like especially if I'm in a place to do so, I definitely don't mind it. So let me know ahead of time. But good to know. Good luck.
Yeah.
with the move.
We're Coalforge Great Axe is going on a hiatus. At least till Cole gets settled on the other side of the country, and we figure out his schedule. We figure out my schedule is going to be changing soon for several different reasons. So he needs to get settled there, physically get equipment set up. I don't know how much equipment we need to talk about that.
Yep.
And then, I mean, if he takes the equipment with him, I don't have any, so I can't stream by myself. Maybe one day. Today is not that day. So it will be back, but it's going on at least a month hiatus, maybe longer, just depending on life things.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. We will be back, we promise.
From outer space. That look on your face. No, it'll be good. All right, thanks for letting me know. I will do my best then, if I can, to fill that slot for next weekend as well. So, for Tears of Kingdom. So,
perfect. Also, next session for Everlast is going to be the 14th of July for the people on that side of the world for us. So that's the second Friday. Or for those on the east side, that'll be the 15th of July. And then it'll be the one after that will be the 28th/29th of July. So just FYI, there's going to be a couple of weeks there, just because of the way that the weeks land. It's always going to be the second and fourth week that we do this, and so we'll be seeing you guys then. And additionally, we have a sponsor on this channel, DaiSNACki. They are Japanese treats and luxury, or Japanese sweets and luxury treats store here in Tokyo, Japan. They're a family-run business, but they have an assortment of boxes from their omakase random selection boxes. So they have popular Japanese treats in their omakase box, and then they have traditional Japanese sweets in their omakase luxe box. Additionally, they have their character boxes, and for the remainder of June, their Nintendo-themed character box, or kawaii box, comes with the Nintendo magazine for the week. What was it? Nintendo what?
Nintendo Dream magazine.
Dream magazine, and it's Tears of the Kingdom theme, and the gift that you'll be getting in there is Zelda themed as well. And then it comes with Nintendo themed goodies as well in there. And then also they have Pokemon, Sanrio, Disney, and a regular just kind of like anime themed kawaii box, which is just their normal kawaii box. They're going to be coming out with the summer box soon. So
yeah, I'm looking right now. They do not have a seasonal box up right now. However, yes, soon they will be having one.
Soon. And check their Instagram, because I know they update it regularly of the stuff, potential things that you can get in your boxes, but that's also where they first announce all of their new boxes that are
Welcome home, good hunter.
Check them out. Also, if you're curious about like what kinds of things are in the DaiSNACki boxes, we have a very active community in our Discord, and oftentimes people who purchase their boxes post pictures. I know Ikari, who's actually Thordane, he's going to be joining us hopefully starting in July as well. He posted a picture of his DaiSNACki box. He got a Nintendo one that was Zelda themed, which came with some really cool stuff. So yeah, so go check that out if you're not. Yeah, if you're not part of the Discord, most times people post. So if you're curious about like what kinds of things, every box is different, of course, because it's a random selection of things. But like these are like the kinds of different things that you could potentially get from each of these individual boxes. So they're pretty cool.
And when you order, free international shipping. And when you order, make sure to mention at checkout the Fantasy Forge sent you, as it does help us. We get a little bit of kickback from that. And then additionally, if you put your Twitch name on there, once we reach our referral limit, we're going to be doing a giveaway from DaiSNACki of a omakase box. And then so you get a number of tickets depending on how much you spend. And so once that happens, we'll announce that and make sure that everyone gets a chance to be able to jump in and potentially win a free omakase box. So
cool. Sounds good.
Awesome.
I don't think anything else. We're
you guys
good.
all have a very good one, and may Alomnia guide each and every one of you. God bless. Have a good one.
Let's
Bye.
go.